system. The people are represented by two separate yet equally important groups: the police who investigate crime and the district attorneys who prosecute the offenders.
That's assault, man. That's assault, man. Break that up, man. Pop that here, man. That's assault, man. That's assault, man. Break that up, man. Break that up, pop that here. These people are going to eject you from this line. That's assault, man. That's assault, man. It is. You cannot touch me like that. Oh, I will be telling you exactly what happened. Break that up, man. Man, these people are going to eject you from this line. That's assault. That's assault. We have video of her just touching. How did that tell? I will. Excuse me. Man. Excuse me. Break that up. That's assault. Excuse me. Man, you cannot touch me like that. Break that up. Break that up. Break that. Break that. Break that. That's break that up. Break that up. Oh, I will be telling you. Break that up. Break that up. That's assault. Stop that. That's assault. That's assault. Stop that. Break that. That's assault. Stop that here. We have video of her just. These people are going to eject you from this line. How did that show? I will assault. It is incredibly appropriate. I will. You cannot touch me like that. That's assault. Break that up. Stop that chair here. Man, you cannot touch me like that. It is incredible. That's assault. Break that up. That's assault. Break that up. Stop that chair. Man, stop that chair. Man, stop that chair. Man, these people are going to eject you from this line. Break that up. That's break that up. Break that up. That's assault. Break that up. Man, break that up. Oh, I will. Man, that's assault. That's assault. Oh, I will be telling you exactly what happened. Stop that chair. That's assault. Break that up. Man, that's assault. Man, break that up. Man, break that up. Stop that chair. These people are going to eject you from this line. That's assault. Man, that's assault. Man, it is. You cannot touch me like that. Oh, I will tell you exactly what happened. Break that up. Break that up. Man, these people are going to eject you from this line. That's assault. That's assault. We have video of her just touching. How did that show? I will be. Excuse me. Man. Excuse me. Break that up. That's assault. Excuse that chair. Man. You cannot touch me like that. Break that up. Break that up. Break that. That's break that. Break that. Oh, I will be telling you. Break that up. Break that. That's assault. That's assault. That's assault. Stop that. Break that. That's assault. Stop that chair here. We have video of her just. These people are going to eject you from this line. How did that show? I will be assault. It is incredibly appropriate. I will. You cannot touch me like that. That's assault. Break that up. Stop that chair here. Man, you cannot touch me like that. It is incredible. That's assault. Break that up. That's assault. Break that up. Stop that chair. Stop that chair. Stop that chair. Man, these people are. These people are going to eject you from this line. Break that up. That's break that up. Break that up. That's assault. Break that up. Man. Break that up. Oh, I will. Man. That's assault. That's assault. Oh, I will. That's assault. 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 Oh, I will. That's assault. 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 Oh, I will be telling you. That's assault. 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 Oh, I will be telling you exactly what happened. Stop that chair here. That's assault. Break that up. That's assault. That's assault. Oh, I will be telling you. That's assault. That's assault. Oh, I will be telling you. That's assault. 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 Oh, I will. That's assault. 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 That's assault.
Hey, where are you from, ma'am? Where are you from?
Io sono from Italia. Viva Italia, per favore, via la lure, mezzo male, mamma mia, da maledare. Ciocinca, buah. Figlia mia, da fantasia, mamma mia, se faccio tu.
I can't understand her. I think she might be French.
Bibbidi bobbidi boo, what the kings of you?
Click clackety duck. This is what the fuck I want.
I'm sorry. I had to put that in there. How are you guys doing tonight? Hello, everybody. Steven, you're not blue. You know what's weird? I did not change the mods since last time, but I think it unmodded everyone. And I don't know what happened. and I need to go in there and figure it out. We'll see if Darlene shows up and she's modded. Then I don't know. Maybe I accidentally unmodded you, Steven. I meant to keep you, but I guess not. I can't not fire you. I know. I'm just going to make everyone mods. Everybody's going to remember we went no mods, 7 mods. No mods, 1 mod, 7 mods, no mods, 3 mods. And now we're going to, what are we even fucking doing here? How are you guys doing? You want Wendy to be arrested? Man, look. See, Darlene still has a wrench. So, Stevie, I must have accidentally unmodded you. Oh, well, you know what? You're free. Tonight, you're free. You're free to play with Rabbit. You guys start trouble, okay? Because you're the youngest. I want you to throw shit around. I want you to wreck the living room. Hello, Darlene. How are you doing? Busy saving lives, I'm assuming. I wanted to talk to you. You're waiting for your pork dumplings? Shrimp and lobster sauce? Lobster sauce? That sounds delicious. So they squeeze the lobster onto the dumplings and the sauce comes out? Or do they chop the lobster up and put it in sauce? I have questions. Hello, Sister Wendy. Hello, kinda. Oh, wait. Yeah, kinda, sorta. You got rid of the little hers at the end? Okay. Hello, Damien. Hello, Tish. Everybody's here. EB, everyone's here. Bubsy, everyone's here. This is exciting. We got Turd in the house. Okay. I had to throw some extras in here. I had to throw some extra sauce in here because I was dying today just laughing my ass off at the shorts that were popping up for me on my YouTube shorts. And this one really killed me. I just love this. I love it when you go to a drive-thru and they have a little phrase. Like when you used to go to Cece's Pizza, if any of you were poor, like me, you go to Cece's Pizza and they go, "Welcome to Cece's. Hi, welcome to Cece's." And it was like my favorite, but I also kind of felt bad for them having to do that, you know? And whenever you pull up to a drive-thru, if they have like a little phrase or something that they say to you, it always makes me giggle. I love the response of this guy. Mitty, welcome, Mitty. You're going to love this. Watch this shit. This reminds me of the YMH thing when they were saying, "Hey, Hitler," at the drive-thrus when they drive up and the game is to try to call someone Hitler without them noticing. I don't know. It's so stupid. It makes me laugh so hard. This is one of my favorite things. And I guess this kid up top is trying not to spit water out laughing at these. I don't know how he does it because I almost shit myself laughing at this one. I just love it.
Bibbidi bobbidi boo, he came to you.
Click clackety duck. This is what the fuck I want. Can I get a
click clackety duck? This is what the fuck I want. Now this one is just clever. This popped up and I thought that this would make you guys laugh. I just love the idea of this is how Hugin talks to other dogs. Like there's these dogs that will always bark when we walk by, and they're these 2 evil basset hounds. And I personally have a vendetta against basset hounds my whole life because one bit my nose. But when Mookie's walks by, they go nuts, and we call them the evil twins. And when he walks by the evil twins, they go insane. But now I'm starting to think maybe this is what they're doing. Watch this.
What's your name? What? What is your name? Tony. Fuck you, Tony! What's your name? Ezekiel! Fuck you, Ezekiel! Fuck you! Fuck you!
They were not happy with their Uber.
Bro, how long have you been driving Uber for?
You better answer. We're going to give you 1 star.
1 star, bro.
1 star.
1 star.
You guys are in a lot of trouble, right? Now, how'd you get the damn phone back there? I searched you.
That is Stevie and Rabbit. That's Stevie and Rabbit tonight. That's how I picture you guys. I'm going back. I want to hear the dogs again. I just love this so much. There's a guy named Rockstar who does dog voices that just kill me, and he's perfect at them. But something about this one in particular, it's because it sounds like the other dog is in the distance. I don't know if someone's doing the voice over there across the way or what. But I absolutely love it. Hello, Claudia. Moving is rough. Hey, speaking of rough, look at how these dogs bark at each other. This is going to make it all better, Claudia. Watch this.
What's your name? What? What is your name? Tony. Fuck you, Tony. What's your name? Ezekiel. Fuck you, Ezekiel. Fuck you. Fuck you.
They were not.
Now this couple, this has to be set up, because if it's not, this is so funny. This is so Vermont Bread Smith, hello. Auntie Ree, hello. Hello. Listen, this is Steven and Rebbit stuck in a cop car. I do not know if it has to be set up. There's no way. This is just so funny.
Happy with their Uber.
Bro, how long you been driving Uber for?
You better answer. We're going to give you 1 star.
1 star, bro.
1 star.
1 star.
You guys are in a lot of trouble, right? Now, how'd you get the damn phone back there? I searched you.
Okay. You know what, Dawn Marie? Just because you're my lemon and you're here, okay? And you're Viva Italia. Viva Mazzamore. It's Adana. She's a lemon. Look at her. I'll play this for you.
Drive the fuck up there or you're going to get booted the fuck out of here.
I know, we're fine.
Enough.
No,
you're not a tough guy. Hurry up. I'll fucking promise you that. Hurry up.
He's pretty tough.
Not that fucking
No, he's
tough.
not.
Not that fucking
He's not.
tough.
He's not tough. No, he's pretty tough.
He's not fucking tough.
You're not tough.
Hey,
You're not tough.
Let's get going.
Get going.
Or you can play behind us all and you can take all the fucking time you want. This is
golf.
fucking
You're not
embarrassing.
tough.
This is golf. This is not
Yeah,
golf.
it's not.
You can stand there 15 fucking minutes.
You
That's
can't
not
even.
golf.
You guys can't even stand
up.
until your ball up now.
I know, he's teeing it up, man. That's fine. He's not teeing it up. He's standing
Do
there.
we need to get the
moron.
police out here?
No, we don't need police. We're not.
Okay, then let's get going here.
Let's go. Pick your shit up and get going. This is not fun. We're what? I'm gonna throw him in this fucking lake. Is what's gonna happen. No, fuck you both. This is fucking bullshit. They've been sitting there for fucking 23 minutes.
I'll cry about it. Fucking cry about it.
I'm going to.
Fucking cry about it.
I'm gonna fucking
You
cry about
fucking
it.
pussy.
I'm a pussy.
Like, fucking cry about it.
Buddy, you're gonna get fucking shit to.
I don't give a fuck.
Like badly.
Good. Let's
Fucking
fucking go, man.
Buddy, you don't want to go me.
No, I'm not filming this. I'm not stopping. No.
I don't know why.
You guys need to get off the golf course.
Yeah, we will, man.
No, now. Like, pack up, go now. Get in the car and go.
I don't know what you're doing. You're not scaring anybody. You're just making
I
yourself.
don't fucking care.
Hey, man. Come on, man. Hey.
Off to a good start, buddy.
I fucking told you.
Man, leave him alone. You want another?
He
You
just
want one
fucking
too?
came at me.
Leave him alone, man. I got it all on record.
It's around the goal.
I got it all on record.
Around the goal.
Hey,
You want to fucking go, guy?
leave him alone. Hey, leave him alone, man.
I wouldn't keep going back, you fucking moron.
Hey, come on, man. No, I'm not trying to get in there. Like, just like fuck.
Enough! Are you still cheering on you? Enough! Get out!
Hey.
Enough! Hey, get him the fuck out of here!
No,
it's not gonna go well.
It's not okay.
Take him home or get him fucking out of here. Fucking get moving! I said stop looking like an idiot!
Get out of here.
Fucking.
You know what? That's a great idea for a shirt, and I'll do that for you tonight. I'll make you a "You're Not Tough" shirt. Okay, we'll do a "You're Not Tough" shirt because we already have the "Cry About It" shirt available in the store. So we'll do a "You're Not Tough" shirt just for you. Life's a bit. That is a great suggestion. Also, I have to tell you guys, Hugin just did the cutest thing. Now I can't pause the queued up videos that are actually inserted forever in StreamYard, which is what that one is. But I was going to pause it. I wanted to tell you guys, Hugin's been doing this thing. If you have a dog, specifically a Canton Terrier, I need to know if you guys have experienced this. Did he fart? He's always farting. What are you talking about? He is a walking fart. Okay. No, he's been doing this thing where he moves his bed. He's taking his self-autonomy very seriously right now. He's trying to be an individual, okay? And I made him his little room. He's got his own carpet. It's got his bed on it. He's got his little sign that says, what is your sign say, Hugin? It says something like an unruly Boston Terrier lives here or something. And then he's got a tiny painting that my mom painted for him. And he's got his own little like wallpaper, and he's got a little table that I put the iPad on, and that's his little TV. So he has his whole setup that's all his, right? So in the last week, we've moved some stuff around in the apartment because we're going to be getting rid of our couch and trying to get another one because the legs are falling off. It's really old. And I've had to like, I don't know, I'm one of those people, if I move something, I get all in feng shui mode and I'm like, well, now this won't work because of this, and this is complicated. And if someone comes in and tries to murder us, then this barrier's gone. So what are we going to do here? So I have also, oh my God, Haynes, you have a Brussels Griffon. They are so fucking cute. I always wanted to get one of those for Hugin because he saw one once and he was obsessed with it. Like it was really cute. Yeah, so I've been moving shit around the house and he did this thing. It is really cute. So first, okay, another predicate to that. When his daddy does his back stretching at night or to pop his back, or we do our stretches, our DDP yoga, which is hardly ever, Hugin will get next to us and he will start stretching. And all we have to do is go stretch. And if we start going stretch, then he puts all his feet forward like this, like Superman, and he flattens out his legs and he splays like a bunny. And then he just does a big stretch, like he's physically stretching, like he knows what we mean. So anytime we're doing that, or anytime Hugin's dad is fixing his back and laying on this, like, I don't know, I call it the accommodator, but that's like a dildo that goes on your chin that I saw at a sex shop once. Or a head shop or whatever. You know how head shops sell sex stuff? They had a dildo for a chin. And I was like, oh, a chindo. And it said the accommodator. And I started laughing. But then he got this thing that's like, it like bends and it's hard and you lay and you put your back on it. And I just call that the accommodator too, because I saw a thing that is, I guess, also for sex that's shaped like that. And they called it the accommodator. And I was like, is there going to be a lawsuit? And so that's what I call it. So anytime he's accommodating his back, Hugin will get next and he'll just stretch. He just loves it, right? So he mimics us sometimes. If we're eating dinner, he has to eat dinner. So his dinner is when we eat because he'll just let it sit there all day. Like he only eats when we eat. So when it's time to eat, he's like, I'm copying you. It's time to eat. Hello, Crafty Chris. I'm just going off about Hugin being so cute. Then he started doing this thing like if I'm getting dressed and I'm like putting a sweater on or getting shoes on, he needs me to put his collar on. Even if he's not going walkies, he needs to have his collar put on because he needs to be putting clothes on too, right? So that's the Hugin. He likes to be included, right? So I started moving furniture this week. And tonight I'm sitting down at my desk and he did this yesterday. He actually did it 4 days ago too. So this is the third time this week. But the first 2 times he did it, he picks up his bed with his mouth and he moves it and he turned it around. And then he headbutted his little table and starts pushing it. And I was like, what are you doing, Hugin? And he just started moving his shit around. And he just moved it all to the center of the living room. So he's letting us know, like, I can move things too. I'm helping, and that's very cute. But then when I moved it back to where it normally goes, he looked at me like, what the hell? I did all that work. So then I felt bad. So I put it back where he put it. And then his dad's like, well, now I can't get to my desk. Like, we can't get to anything. So we had to move it back again. So I'm sitting here at my desk just now. And Hugin just walks up and stares at me for a minute. And then he looks at his bed and we're watching the record video. And he picks his bed up with his mouth and he drags it over next to me. And he's right here. And he's like looking up at me and I'm talking. And then I look down at him and I'm like, hey, Hugin. And then I look up and I realize I have it on mute. I didn't take the video down. I'm like, oh, damn. And then he does, and then he drags it into the front of me so I can see him better. And now he is just in his little bed. And there's like a slit between my desk and the top part. It's like a dual desk. And he's just looking at me through it. He's sharing his furniture. I think he's trying to mimic mommy. I think he wants a headset. I think I'm going to have to get him his own camera and headset. I think I'm going to steal from Gray Hughes. I'm going to take Gray Hughes' idea. And I'm going to put Hugin on camera and make that guy furious. Because it's so cute. But he's just been moving. He's been moving his stuff. And he's like, I've decided that this goes here now, bitch. And that's just where it is. And then, oh my God, when it rains bad now, Hugin saw us putting all of the towels and stuff on the edge. If it starts to rain, he will go get you a towel. I shit you not. He will drag a towel in here like, we're getting ready for the flood. Because it flooded. So we had to like put towels at the door. So now anytime there's a drop of rain, he's like, I'm going to go get a towel. And he's brilliant. He could be the next president. He's very smart. I'm very thrilled with him. I'm very happy for him. His birthday's coming up soon. I'm going to get him something really special. I'm thinking of getting him his own little Hugin house, like a dog house, but like it's a Hugin house. And I'm gonna have to shape it weird. I'm gonna get some wood and I'm gonna make him a Hugin house. He's too pure to be president. Well, you haven't seen him humpies his dad's leg. Okay. His birthday is October 17th, I believe. So yeah, he's a very good boy. Okay. And how old are you gonna be, Hugin? He's gonna be 7. This is very exciting. Very exciting. Mensa Hoogs. Exactly. Mensa trading Hoogs. He's menstruating. How's you doing, little guy? You on your period? He's such a good boy. He's fantastic. He's fantastic. I just dribbled coffee all over myself. He's a Libra. And what does that mean? Just give me money, says EB. Okay. How much? What do you need? Hugin will help you. Bird Turd will be president. We're working on the campaign right now. It's happening. It's absolutely happening. Also, my dad and mom have decided to start a new business. This has nothing to do with crime, but it could. We'll see how it goes. They've decided to start a new business, and they are now in the business of salsa making. Now, my stepdad has won many salsa contests in San Antonio for his salsa. My mother has a garden, and they grow all their own vegetables because they live out in the country. All right. And they make this thing called Trinidad Scorpion sauce or something. My dad's crazy. He'll like eat any pepper. He doesn't give a shit. My boyfriend Dylan will take a ghost pepper and just pop it in his mouth like it's no big deal. However, they both think habaneros are the hottest pepper ever. And I'm like, no, I'm fine with that. But they eat the hot stuff. Now, my mother has gotten into that. StreamYard just kicked me out for no reason. So my mother has gotten into that too. So they've decided they're starting their own salsa company. Okay. And they've already submitted ingredients to the FDA and stuff because they used to can salsa and my dad brews beer. And they would come over to my old house when I lived with these 4 male comics who were all from Nebraska, which it turns out is real. And I'm not saying Israel, I'm saying it is real. Like Nebraska is real, apparently. So yeah, he would bring them this sauce and this beer and make them taste test it. And I always wondered what he was doing that for. Like, why are you just giving it away? You know? And it was because he was doing his own what do you call it? His own little, like, I don't even remember the word. It's been a long, long day. Like a panel. Like, here, you guys test it out and tell me what you think, you know? And they'd be like, this one's too hot. This one's this. And it turns out he was just gathering data behind my back. So now that they have decided what kind of salsa they want, it only took like 10 years. Now they're going to make a salsa. And they have 4 flavors. And I'm not going to say what because they're working on the patent. But yeah, something to do with this scorpion pepper that they're really into. So we might be selling salsa on the channel. That's all I have to say about that. We might be selling salsa, okay? Because I like to say salsa. And if any of you get that reference, brilliant. Yeah, so my parents are getting into salsa making. I'm working on their logos and helping them with that. But pretty soon, I'm thinking maybe I'm going to force them to sponsor us. We're going to do a forced sponsorship. And I'm going to say, hey, listen, whether you like it or not, I'm your kid. All right. So I'm putting it on there. And we're going to sell the salsa through my channel. All right. So you better get on board, mom and dad, because it's fucking happening. All right. Mom and dad, you better get on board because I'm selling your fucking salsa. You got me? If you don't like it, you're grounded. All right. Next. Yeah, I love salsa too. They have some pretty cool ideas. And I'll tell you this much. I like salsa, but I'm not like one of those. I just like Chipotle Tabasco. I don't need anything else. Like, I really don't. But if I'm at a place that has chips and salsa, I'll eat it, right? My mom makes this persimmon salsa. Persimmon? I don't know how to say it. But it's like a little orange gold tomato thing. She makes a salsa with that. It was her, I'm just going to make this for fun to see what it tastes like. And it's got like a hint of peach in it. And my mom was a cook for many years before she got into taking care of life skills students. And I'm not saying me, she also took care of me, but she works with the life skills kids, you know? And before that, my mom is an incredible cook, but something about, tomatillo is my favorite. That's my favorite, but something about the persimmon salsa. It is the best fucking salsa I've ever had in my life. I'm scared to tell my dad it's better than his, but it's so fucking good. And I need them to make it. So I'm trying to put pressure on them. So we might have like a persimmon, change.org petition going up soon that I am going to force upon them. I'm going to say, look, the people have spoken. So I might need you guys to come in and sign that for me, because I will be making up fake signatures using AI. But also I'm going to need help from real people in case they try to call you. So we're going to get that. So I'm going to get them to add that to it. I'm also trying to convince them to come up with fancy fun names instead of the boring ass names they came up with, which is just the flavor. I'm like, no, we need to come up with something. And then my dad came up with something. It was so offensive. It was so inappropriate. And he will sell no salsas if he calls it that, but he's trying. And so right now we are in a discussion, a formal discussion over potential salsa puns. I might have to clue you in on this, darling. I might have to get everybody on board so that we can peer pressure them, because there's no way my parents are taking a company they haven't even started yet with one of the names they came up with and then leaving the other three boring. And I really need the persimmon added, and then I need them to accept our puns. So we're going to have a lot to do. That is not murder or missing adjacent, but it is salsa adjacent. Therefore, I find it very important. Okay, you hear me? All right. And if we can get a tomatillo going, oh my God, that would be so great. And we could call it tomatillo, right? And I'll get my uncle to pop in some ideas. This could be a family fucking racket we could run here. The goal is to make so much money off of this salsa that it ruins the family. Okay? That's how rich we want to be off this salsa. All right? I want my parents suing each other by the end of this. That's how much we need this salsa to work. Okay? They'll always love each other. They're still fucking. Like, they're old and they're still, like, they're in love, dude. So money ain't a thing. But I need them to get so rich that it goes into a court battle. Okay? Because this salsa is fucking good. Pobrecita Tomatilla is a very good name. It's a very, very good name. And I like that a lot. We're going to work with it. I need this salsa situation to get so intense that we become the next Adelsons. Okay? I need something. Okay? Because the sky is dark. All right? It's constantly raining here, which is fine, but it's a hot rain. Okay? I need a cold rain and a lawsuit. That's what I need. All right? For me. Anyway, yeah, problem child salsa is actually a pretty good idea. So that's what's going on. We have so much to talk about. I threw some more sillies in here, okay? Feral Fiesta is very good. You don't have bail money, Darlene. I will note that. Tonight we're going to talk about a couple of things. First of all, Maddy McCann, okay? We're going to talk a little bit about Christian Bruckner and what's going on there, because yikes. We're also going to talk about Rex and the clothes found at Jones Beach, because I did find out one new nugget, and I think that's important to kind of share with you guys. We are going to talk about hot skates, which we talked about yesterday. Somebody in the comments said she worked at Hot Skates back then. Left a comment saying thank you for covering that. I asked her some questions. I got tingles just now. Like, oh my God. I can't believe someone who worked there at that time watches the channel at all. So thank you. But also, what perfect timing. I really hope she's watching tonight, because I was going through the archives the past few weeks trying to find old archives of Hot Skates news footage, because apparently they had some, this is what I read, is that there was some news footage out there from the time when the girls got murdered who worked at hot skates, right? And about one of the bodies being found at a golf course, and about there was speculation when Rifkin got busted that this could be the work of Rifkin. However, men went on trial for this, and we briefly discussed it last night, but I'm going to show you some of the information on that and who the suspects were. One of the guys who got released is now living in Colorado and works, I believe, with possibly with the Innocence Project, but there's other people who still believe that guy's guilty. It's just really messed up. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But I was looking for a bunch of these old interviews that I saw referenced, like quoted in some old literature on this. And by old, I mean like from literally the year it happened, people speculating and they commentated into the paper. They sent in like letters to the editor and stuff like that. And I'm reading it and I'm like, they're talking about when this was on the news, when they interviewed so-and-so. And I'm like, so there's footage out there of the area and people discussing this case and people who knew the victims and the parent, like, and I've never seen it, and I've been searching for it everywhere and I cannot find any anywhere. So this could be a cool OSINT challenge. But I was able to find some interesting footage because some of you guys messaged me wanting to know if I can show you the bathhouse, what Jones Beach looked like back then, if there's any old archived footage of that too. And I was like, brilliant, let's look it up. So I found some on YouTube. It's not a lot, but I think it's very interesting. I had no idea there was a theater out there. Darlene, you didn't tell me. Dawn, where are you guys? There's a fucking theater. You guys have a theater on the beach. Like it looks like a Greek amphitheater. It's insane. It's beautiful. It's got there's a big ass like white boat on. I learned so much about Jones Beach researching it. I have to say, out of all the beaches that I've researched, Jones Beach, probably crazier than Gilgo. Gilgo, it's like there's a lot of Reeds and rich people live here, right? Hamptons, it's like that was on Sex and the City. They talked about it a lot. You saw Melissa Etheridge there. Yeah, but I didn't know what it looked like. Like when I saw what it looked like, I was like, oh, Jesus. Like, first of all, it's like the Red Rocks on the fucking beach. It's crazy. And then also, I wish I could show you this tonight. It would take hours because there's so much cool stuff about this beach that trips me out. Like, first of all, there's this white boat that says Jones Beach and it's made out of wood, right? And ever since like the 30s and 40s, okay, they've had these lifeguard competitions at Jones Beach where it's like a big fucking deal to be a lifeguard at this beach. Like, it's such a big deal that they announce the lifeguards like they're announcing the new cast of The Real World. Like every year in the paper, they're like, these 93 motherfuckers made it. They're going to be saving your lives. Welcome to Baywatch. It's Jones Beach. Rah! And then it's all these people like, yeah. And they're all physically fit and hot. And they're just like running down the beach. And it is Baywatch. And I'm like, what is happening to our beaches? Because in Texas, it's jellyfish, alcoholics, a lady whose tits are out. Like they're just out and they're to her knees and no one's going to say shit to her. Do you understand? Everyone's sunburned. It's hot. I don't remember ever seeing a lifeguard on Texas Beach. I really don't. There's the stands that they sit in, but I don't think anyone can physically climb those. So I've never seen a lifeguard at Texas Beach. These people get paid money to do this. Like they get paid to be lifeguards. I had no idea that you actually get paid to do that. I thought that was just like, I mean, we have them at the pools. I'd imagine they get paid and they look miserable, but like, yeah, Texas has the worst beaches though. They're the worst beaches. And like, it's so crazy to me that there's hot lifeguards that get paid good money and they get put in the paper. Like here, getting put in the paper is kind of a big deal. They get put in the paper there. They get put in the paper and it's like a big deal. Like people scout them. Like they're like, you want to come be on this show about swimming? Like it's fucking weird. It is. It's just like Baywatch. I thought that was just made up, just like Nebraska. I thought it was all made up for TV. I was like, this can't be. But yeah, so they have these lifeguard competitions to become a lifeguard at the beach so that you can almost die and be ripped into the ocean by children going, I can't swim. And parents that are like making poor decisions to go too far out. Like that's what they're doing. And it kind of tripped me out because there's this guy, right? And he's famous at Jones Beach. He was the oldest lifeguard in the US. Okay. He was a lifeguard till like in his 70s or some shit. He died recently at the age of 92, I think. I can't remember he was in his 90s. I think it was 91, 92. And he was this big shit deal. And I found this whole archive of Jones Beach. Over half of it is this guy. Like how that Duke guy swam the wave, or he, surfed the wave in, from what was it, Maui to Oahu or whatever. He surfed across the ocean. Duke, I have postcards of him from when I went to Hawaii. Like, people are like, Duke is the shit. Like, he is the Jones Beach version of Duke. He is this dude. Everyone knows him. Do you know who I'm talking about? It is hard. Darlene, they make a huge deal out of how hard it is. Do you know who the guy is? This lifeguard? Like, apparently people know. Like, you say his name and everyone knows. Like, he's this dude. He's got like all his pictures are like 40s strongman style, and he's super tanned. He has like Alex Jones body if Alex Jones was ripped. Do you remember when Alex Jones like flexed and took his shirt off, and he's a thick biscuit, but he's fucking red. Like, he's bright red. He's the color of Dog the Bounty Hunter's face. Like, imagine that guy, but ripped until you're 70. Like, that's this Jones Beach lifeguard, and they're like obsessed with him. He's in the paper. He's on TV. You've seen him, but you can't remember his name. Oh, I'm sure. I think I put something in there tonight. He's kind of like Hasselhoff, who I have a fucked up story about. I shouldn't say I do. I should say Dylan does. David Hasselhoff. I don't think I can get sued for this because it happened. Hit on Dylan's sister at the mall when she was like 15, like trying to fuck on her. And they were like, she is 15, David Hasselhoff. You need to fuck off. And he just kept telling her she was look out for David Hasselhoff. That's all I'm saying. That was crazy. I was like, what, Bailey? Like, yeah, David Hasselhoff tried to fuck on his sister at the mall. Like, he was there. And he was like, I guess doing a signing, or it was something for Knight Rider. I don't know. And his sister is there. And he's like, what's your name? Like, just hitting on her. Like, bro, she's a kid. Anyway, this dude's thicker than a Snicker, and he was a lifeguard. He died recently, and he's such a big deal. And that was the most I could find on Jones Beach was on that guy. And then the rest is about the history. But it's fascinating. These lifeguards used to like pull this boat across the beach, like pull this boat through the sand as one of the lifeguard, like for 100 years or some shit, 50 years, however long. It's like, this is what you do to be a lifeguard. Whoever can pull this, it's tough enough. It's WWE's Tough Enough. They put you out there. It's Stone Cold when he was the coach on Tough Enough. That is what it is. That is Jones Beach. And it trips me out. It's like Muscle Beach in LA, but the whole beach. And I'm like, how did Rex work here? He was a skinny, pale, like he looked like fucking Marilyn Manson with this shirt off in the 90s. He didn't look good. So I don't understand what he was doing there. Was he a pool boy? Like, I don't get it. Anyway, I went ahead and I pulled all like footage. I found footage somebody put up from the 30s and 40s of this beach, of people doing archery on the beach. Like, I don't know beach culture. I thought I knew beach culture. I don't know beach culture because this shit is tripping me out. I'm like, this is really like Baywatch. This is really like some old commercial that I'm not privy to the product, but I'd like to see the product. I'm looking at the product. Beach product. It wows me. I don't like, what are we doing here? I thought the beach is where you pick up seashells and you lay fat in the sun. I did not realize that there was archery competitions. There is a Tough Enough situation going on. There are hot people actually saving lives. Like, it's fucking me up. So anyway, I looked into that and I found out a lot about this beach. It took me away, Calgon. It was amazing. I was sitting there looking at it. Like, I thought when they said a bathhouse, this was going to be like a gay hookup spot for James Burke. But no, it is a building that was like a legit gathering spot. They used to, Jones Beach used to have a little inlet island separate of the beach that is on its own. And then it faces where the highway goes straight down, and it's like kind of off at an angle. And the way to get to it is by boat. So the only way anyone could go to this little part, this little inlet, is by a boat, and there's a bar on it. So it's a bar, right, where people can gather and bands play, but the only way to get to it was by boat. And because not a lot of people were fucking with boats anymore during like some hard times in the economy, they said we're just going to shut it down. So now it just sits there abandoned, and it looks like Mission Drive-In here in Texas. It looks like a place where you can drive in and watch a movie, but it's like out in the middle of nowhere. And it's kind of crazy. There's just so much going on. There's all these abandoned buildings, but one of the most fascinating parts is when I was reading that article yesterday about like the clothing that was found. I was thinking like, how has this not been found if it was just 2 feet under, right? And I started like looking for more information on this because it would have been in 2023 when they found it, but they kept it real hush hush. It was 2 months after, right? So I started looking at the area on the map and then looking for old footage of it. And I realized like one of the reasons a lot of this stuff goes untouched for some time is because of how fucking far it is. And again, I don't fuck with boats, but you kind of got to fuck with boats. You really do. You have to fuck with boats if you want to find some of this evidence. And it's leading me to think, why would you bury, like, again, why would you bury something if you have the water? If you have so many weight, you just throw it in a dumpster. Like, I don't understand that concept. And I think you guys are right. Those of you who said he wants to revisit, like, the bodies. I think it's the same with the stuff. Like, I do wonder if he kept a key to that bathhouse because it closed down in 2009. I would imagine they would have changed the locks by then, but apparently it hadn't undergone any renovation. And now they're doing like a $52 million renovation project or something on it. I think that's the number. And it's really interesting because if that's true, then that means that when they were cleaning the area to undergo this renovation project, they were digging. They're going to dig. They're going to pull stuff up. And it's still ongoing. And it's apparently going to keep on going for a while because they have to get this whole beach squared away so they can put shit on it, right? Are they going to find more stuff? And it got me thinking about, homie here in Texas, in Houston, the Candyman, remember? And Elmer Wayne Henley helped him and stuff. Dean Coral, he killed people and buried them on the beach here in Texas. And I was thinking, like, how many people who are serial killers have buried bodies on beaches? And it turns out almost every beach in this country. And I say almost because I had like 10 more to look at. I just ran out of time. But so far, all but 10, but I just haven't looked into the 10. Like, so many beaches have had multiple victims buried at them. And with the amount of sandcastle building, why would they do that? Like, why do that? You know that kids are going to be digging in the sand. It's just such a terrible, terrible decision. So we're going to look a little more at Jones Beach. I'm going to tell you a little more about the interesting thing. The interesting thing is basically that the leather strap and the bloody gloves were found near a shack. It wasn't at the bath. So the East Bathhouse is where they found these weathered purses, these rayon skirts, and they were very specific rayon skirts, right? These clothing pieces with the buttons popped off, and it's all 80s and 90s brands, and they found it 2 feet under. They didn't find the leather strap that they talked about or the bloody glove there with that stuff. They found it a little ways away by a shack that is also in the area. So if there's 2 hidey spots, I wonder if there's going to be more. And has there been any digging out there? I started looking into that. Was there any digging beyond that? And so far, all I could find besides, what was already dug up to find the Gilgo bodies was in over in Maynardville, right? When they went searching for this box, but I didn't see any other dig sites along the beach, let alone Jones Beach in that area. And it's making me wonder, why are they not doing that? And Fire Island, I hope that they are. And I wonder if anyone's been keeping track of that. Because I know anytime someone digs in Gilgo or Maynardville, it's a big deal, right? Because those are the two main spots. But what about Jones Beach and Fire Island? Like, why are they not digging there more prominently? Why has the news just not covered it? Maybe they did. I don't know. But I tried calling, and I forgot it was Sunday. I tried calling 2 different government entities in the area to discuss where you guys get your dig tests done. Because here in Texas, you know, we have a 1-800 number and stuff. And I forgot everything's closed. So I'm going to have to work on that this week because I'm very interested. I want to know, are there any planned digs in this area? Because if there's not, I'm going to tell you guys a secret. Are you ready? Okay. I made a purchase. All right. I made a purchase. Also, Torrey Pines. Yes, Bubsy. And also, homegirl from Buffy, who almost got murdered by a serial killer. That beach had like a shitload of women found there in the 80s. Scary. It keeps washing away because of the hurricanes. Exactly, Darlene. Well, let me tell you about this purchase I made. Okay, because I'm going to come up to New York for a little bit, the beginning, at least of the trial, if it happens. Here's what I bought. I have been saving up for a couple of years, okay, to make a big musical purchase. It's not pig slots. I wish it was. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to get a refund and I'm going to get a pig slot machine. No, I wanted to initially get my AC fixed on my car. Okay. I was like, this is going to be a big deal. I did. And then it broke again. So I said, this is not as big of a deal as I thought it was. Okay. So then I was like, it's basically like a different kind of soundboard for my musical projects. And then I was like, nah, because I saw something and I said, I don't know why, but I want that. I have ordered a metal detector kit and a magnet fishing kit. For those of you who don't know what magnet fishing is, it's the only way I fish. It's my favorite fishing. I don't care to take fish from the ocean and eat them. I will go buy them at a store. I want to find things that stick to magnets. I could catch a bicycle. I could catch a car. There could be a gun. Yikes. All sorts of metal. I want to find what's in the waters and I want to get it out. Turns out magnet fishing kits are really cheap. Like under $50, you can get a really good kit. Like $29. It comes with the gloves, everything. It does not come with the snarky attitude and the YouTube camera, but I'll bring that to the table. I got a magnet fishing kit on its way, and I have a metal detector. The metal detector that I got is supposed to also detect other types of metals, other forms of metals. And there's supposed to be something that has like a copper attachment that focuses on copper. I don't know how the science works. The goal is there are 3 missing persons that I have been looking for and obsessed with for over a decade now. They are local to here. One of them is my deepest, darkest, oldest obsession. And while cadaver dogs have been put out in certain areas, there are necklaces and jewelry on some of these victims that could ping, could be caught. So what I am going to be doing is I'm going to be snooping with my metal detector and magnet fishing in the area. And I'm probably going to film some of it. But I would like to, if possible, either ship it to New York and meet it there when I get there, or have one maybe like brought to me while I'm there and then just return it. Or I'm just going to take my own, but I don't know if I can get it through on the plane, but we'll see. But I would like to go to Jones Beach and Fire Island and kind of take a look around myself, because that's how fucking nosy I am. But we're going to be having some of that kind of content soon. And I'm thinking I'm going to film the learning process too, because I know a lot of people will say like, well, how'd you get into that? Or how do you know that? Or where'd you study that? And it's like, you just do it. You just do it. If you want to learn something, go to school. If you get a tutor, take a class, go to a community center. If I'm watching someone magnet fish and can I bring a metal detector through a metal detector? I don't know. Tiff Knox, I haven't. I watch these teen boys that do it in the woods in Michigan, and they get thrilled every time they find a gun, and they call the cops, and the cops always look at them like, you're giving me a gun? And they don't know what to do. And it makes me giggle. That sounds bad. I watch these teen boys. They were teens when they started. I was very proud of them. I was like, they could be my sons. They're so nosy. I love them so much. And they want to find old bottles, and they want to find coins, and they always find evidence. It's very funny. The nerds on the beach with the headphones. I want to be that guy. I want to be the guy who's like, oh, you dropped your wedding ring? Here, let me get it for you. Like, I want to do that. And I think it's very, very funny. Some of the situations they get put in. And I always fantasize like, one of these days I'm going to find something and I'm going to return it to the owner. And then the owner's going to be like, come to Thanksgiving. I don't know what's wrong with me. So we're going to do that. I'm going full dad. Gotten a metal detector. Exactly, Melissa. And I'm going to learn how to do it. And I'm probably going to film the process of learning. Okay. Because every time I see someone with a metal detector, I get jealous. Every time I see someone magnet fishing, I get jealous. My ring size is 10 as well. EB, we could be Twinkies. So here's what I'm thinking. Like, let's just do it. Like the Nike check. All right. So we're going to do that. I'm going to be filming it. I'll take you guys on maybe some live adventures with me. I'm going to go Lady Bird Lake. All right. I'm going to catch me that serial killer with the magnet. How about that? There's no serial killer. All right. Anyway. So let's get on with it. Last thing we're going to talk about is Etherman. We're briefly going to touch on that because I like to kind of give you a short summary before we get into the full episodes. That way, if you want to see if it's for you before you tune in, because, trigger warning, some of this shit's pretty fucked up that you talk about in the true crime realm. There's some things that you might not want to talk about. Now, I've had a couple of people who watch the channel ask me if I've seen the guy stabbing the girl on the bus in North Carolina or the train or whatever that is, and why I don't cover that, because that is triggering as fuck for me. I don't like watching people getting repeatedly stabbed, and that is one of the saddest, most fucked up videos I've ever seen, and when I saw it, I immediately started weeping. I'm not covering that. I'm sorry, I can't handle it. But they did warn me, and then I watched it and was like, oh, fuck. That poor girl, if you guys don't know, there was a girl from the Ukraine who moved here to get away from war, got a job at Subway, was living her life, and some douchebag sitting behind her on public transit stands up with a knife and then just starts repeatedly stabbing her in the neck and face until she dies, and then walks away and then waits at the door. And it is one of the most fucked up videos I've ever seen. The news aired it and it was very graphic. And I was like, what are you doing? Oh my God. And I feel horrible. This guy had been in prison multiple times, in jail over, 14 times? Oh my God, dude. It's too much. I can't handle it. So with that said, I understand people can't handle some topics. Etherman is a fucked up topic, all right? But there's a reason we're going to talk about him. And it has a lot to do with the backlog in rape kits and how that affects cases that people have had and thought were dormant, and specifically the Etherman. So I'm going to give you kind of a summary of what's going on there. Some of his crimes occurred in Austin the year I moved here, and it is a spooky case. And I remember when it came on the TV, it was like 2 blocks away from me. This happened to this girl, and we all had to shut our window. Like, it was really scary. And it was me and my roommate, and me and her were like, oh, fuck. Like, and then the Jennifer Caves, and then the other neighbors behind us got chopped up in a bathtub, one of them, and killed. And it was a lot happening that first year. So it was very spooky. And he popped into my algorithm recently and I noticed something and I went, oh, hold on. This actually, because he got popped, what was it, 15 years ago, 16 years ago now? But there's a lot of stuff going on with technology and DNA and a backlog in rape kits that is starting to stack some potential connections to him. And I'm very curious how that's going to work, because historically speaking, I don't know that there has been anyone like him other than Joseph James D'Angelo. And Joseph James D'Angelo did not use ether on his victims. So that is a very specific thing that a lot of victims of all of them said the same thing, like something covering their face and then they are knocked out, right? So that's a very, very specific variable in these crimes that it can change a little, you know. Sometimes he does it from behind, sometimes he would put their head in a pillow. He did it to his own wife, and she found video footage of him doing that, and had no idea he'd been doing that to her in their own home. So Ether Man is a particular kind of monster, but the amount of states that he attacked in, the time frames, his ability to travel and leave because he was a salesman, a traveling salesman, and the backlog and rape cases being tackled in every state as budgets get bigger and as time allots for it and as victims start suing and asking questions. And there was something very interesting that was done in his case that I do wonder if it can be done for other cases, especially today in modern society. It's been over a decade and stuff. I guess I shouldn't say modern society, but today with the numbers of people who are still waiting on justice, I do have questions about whether or not it is possible to do something that was done in that case to help those victims. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. And if you don't know who Ether Man is, I'm just going to explain it a little bit more at the end. I'm going to show you some videos of it. And then we're going to go in depth on him later on in the week. And then the last thing I think we're going to talk about, that's it. So we're going to go over some Ether Man, some more of the Jones Beach stuff, and we're going to talk a little bit about Maddy McCann and what's going on there. First, I need you guys to learn about Christian dating, okay? Because it's important, and boys are going to want to kiss you. Girls are going to want to hold your hand, and I don't think it is appropriate, okay? And yes, I did. And I'm going to put that at the beginning. If you let me, I would like to put that at the beginning of a video eventually with your permission, your treat. All right, here's how you date, by the way, if you guys need to know. This is how you date. This is how you do it.
Hello, who is it? Barb, what are you doing? Nancy, can you even believe how amazing much we learned at one weekend at Acquire the Fire? About life and love and happiness and security in our faith? And, of course, sex. Nancy, my precious moments are listening. I mean, the absence of sex, silly? Remember courting, not dating? Gag me. Dating? Oh, never. Well, remember that when Kurt calls.
Hey, baby.
Kurt? What are you calling for?
You called me, or am I answering the call of the wild?
I don't think I understand. What's that squeaking noise?
I'm sorry, that must be my deltoid rubbing up against the phone cord.
He's such a sweaty hunk of beefy machismo. Remember what the word of God said. Look, Kurt, I don't think this is going to work out.
I knew it! You tramp! You act all friendly like I'm gonna get something out of it, and then you clam up like some holy prude.
Wait right there! How dare you demean my Christian beliefs? You need to believe in something bigger than your bicep, buddy. I dare you to treat women with respect. In the meantime, I dare you to be a man.
Ladies and gentlemen, Baby Rapper.
Baby rapper, cool as he can be. Baby rapper, baby rapper. Baby rapper, cool as he can be. Baby rapper, baby rapper. He knows his numbers and his ABC. Baby rapper.
now, Baby Rapper is going to do his impersonation of the Beatles. So come on, folks, let's dance along, sing.
We are not going to watch Baby Rapper do his impression of the Beatles. I do apologize. Also, this is a very funny comment, Cindy. Expose the lamb. Okay. Like I'm exposing like a predator. Like here, this is Ozzy the lamb. Look into his eyes. Okay, I'll expose the lamb, girl. Okay. I'll do it on the next live. Hell. All right. Yeah, like the baby from Ally McBeal. Baby Rapper. He's super funny. I love Baby Rapper. Okay. So that was Baby Rapper. I'm putting it in every episode for a while now because I'm obsessed with the song Baby Rapper, Baby Rapper. Okay, first thing we're going to talk about, Madeleine McCann. So there is a lot going on there. Okay, there's a lot going on with the Madeleine McCann case. Give me just 1 second. I have some information for you that I actually prepared this one, and I've written down some information that you need to know. Christian Bruckner is the primary suspect in the disappearance of Madeleine McCann. He is scheduled to be released from a German prison on September 17th, 2025. So in 10 days, okay? Now, again, he is a suspect. He is believed to be the murderer and kidnapper of Madeleine McCann based on information that German authorities found in an email, okay? And they have gone through his properties, torn them up, and found all sorts of caches of CSAM. There are USBs. There are kids' toys and bikes. He does not have a child, okay? There is evidence, all right? There is evidence. And unfortunately, they cannot say what the evidence is out loud. However, and they have yet to share it with the public and the media. However, the Portuguese police are pissed off as hell because they want to be the ones to bust this guy, right? And the police in Maddie's home, where her parents are from, they're pissed off because they want to find out who the guy is. And none of them are working together. They will say that they are working together, and then in interviews, the investigators will contradict each other. So the Germans are like, we have found him. He is a monster. And then the Portuguese are like, bitch. No, you didn't. He's a piece of shit, but prove it. And they're very kind of anti-woman there. The way they treated the rape victims and the assault victims of Christian Bruckner, because he did try to beat a woman to death, an old lady, after molesting her and breaking into her house. They treated them like filth. They treated the Irish victim like shit. She abandoned all of her stuff in a foreign country and went back home because she couldn't re-enter the home because of how they treated her, not just the crime, because of how they responded. They literally like laughed at her. They refused to collect evidence. They refused to take the case as a legit criminal circumstance. And they shamed her as if she was asking for it. She has struggled for so long to get someone to listen. The Germans were listening, okay? The Germans were also charging him with crimes that he committed in Germany, crimes he committed against his ex who he had been stalking. But then Interpol over here is like, fuck all y'all. You don't know what you're talking about. And other people think the parents did it. So this is very much like a couple of cases, specifically here in Texas, where you have multiple jurisdictions all fighting. Okay. But in this case, it's weird because it's like they say they want to be the first to solve it, but they're doing nothing to investigate it further. The only ones who seemingly are Germany, whilst going into Portugal and asking for permission to do it, and Portugal begrudgingly letting them. And then when they see all the media there, they jump in and they want to help take over. And then they announce we found nothing while the Germans announce we found a lot. So again, everything's contradictory, okay? That's kind of the state of her case, which is why he was not in prison for her case. Let me explain. Bruckner is completing a 7-year sentence in prison in Germany for a 2005 rape of an elderly woman in Praia de Luz, Portugal. Okay, so that rape, he is serving time now for that. An anonymous individual paid an outstanding fine, which allowed Bruckner's release date to be moved forward to September 17th. So, unfortunately, in Germany, even though he committed many rapes, okay, this woman who was vacationing in Portugal she was vacationing and doing a work thing, when Christian Bruckner broke into her apartment through the balcony, molested her, attacked her. He looked just like the guy. It was Christian. He spoke with a German accent. She tried to go to the police. It was horrific. She's been on several like documentaries and in Sun articles and on the news discussing this. When she went into the courtroom in Germany to try to get justice, the judge laughed at her. The judge was so fucking mean. The judge frequently the judge was described as almost flirty with Christian Bruckner. The judge would get mad, okay, at the rape and assault victims' lawyers for mistreating Bruckner. This judge was way worse than Bev. Bev was a fucking vacation compared to this judge. Okay. This judge was awful to all the victims, but treated Bruckner so kind. They could have kept him there while they continued with some much needed searches for Madeline, but the judge decided no. And even said, because this is a thing in Germany, like if you don't want to serve excess time that you're supposed to serve, sometimes you will be given the option to just pay a big fine for that time. So kind of like how you can sit out a warrant in jail instead of paying like $1,000 or $1,200 or $1,500. That's here in Texas. It's what the deal is. I've had friends with a lot of warrants, but I'm telling you there, it's just like that in the sense that if you committed a criminal offense, in some instances, they will say, pay us $100 for every day you're supposed to sit in jail. So this is like a massive fine. Some rich ditzy motherfucker paid this rapist's fines. This guy who almost beat this elderly woman to death, who tortured and beat his ex, who has molested multiple women and children, who has documented hundreds and hundreds of terabytes of child sex exploitation material. They paid his fines to get him out of prison early. Like, who the fuck? And the problem is we don't have freedom of information there. But I would love to know who the fuck did that. Because whoever the fuck did that, I'm willing to bet is more than likely someone who knows about some of the information that he's been hiding from police to cover his tracks. It's very scary. I'm willing to bet it's someone who perhaps distributed to him or bought from him some of that CSAM. Because in order to do that, you have to be a shitty person who is okay with that and has some sort of incentive. There's no fucking way. It's like some lady who's in love with him. He has no girlfriend. Everyone thinks he's a fucking sociopath, and he is. He's a bad person. To me, whoever did that doesn't want him to squeal. That's what I think. And that's a bold claim because there's no evidence of that, but I can't think of any other scenario why someone would pay to have that perverted, murderous psychopath out on the streets just a little early. Well, the incentive would be before they find anything because they're continuing to search. Yeah, you're allowed to bribe in Germany, apparently, Cindy. It's disgusting. So he served 7 years. Okay. And for this individual to remain anonymous is absolutely absurd. Bruckner was officially named the main suspect in the Madeleine McCann 2007 disappearance by German prosecutors in 2020. So that was not too long ago. Despite this, he has never been charged with her abduction or murder. Prosecutors say they do not have sufficient evidence for a conviction, though they remain convinced of his guilt. Now, these are the German prosecutors. Bruckner has denied any involvement in the McCann case. Would you believe he also denied involvement in raping and attempting to murder the elderly woman, for which there was DNA evidence? And the witness said he did it. Would you believe he has denied all of his crimes? So, with that said, I'm very disturbed by this, but I wanted to show you an old
a bombshell revelation.
An old News Nation piece where they're talking about Christian Bruckner, and they are trying to suss out what the evidence is against him that was brought forth by the German authorities. Because some people keep saying, like, why? Why did they think it's him? Why do they think it's him? Well, here you go. I'll show you. And it might not be strong enough evidence for some people, but to me, it's like this feels right because of a lot of the circumstances. Remember the guy who met Bruckner in Portugal, who was camping on the beach, and he met him because one of his friends who he made while he was there, who was trying to get work to provide food for his family, that guy hired him. And the guy said, I'm not making enough money. And he was an alcoholic, and he said, I need to make more money. I'm going to go help this guy kidnap this little girl. And the dude was like, don't fucking do that. And then he tried to tell Portuguese authorities and they wouldn't listen. Yeah, remember that? Okay, now listen to this.
A bombshell revelation in the case of missing British toddler Madeleine McCann. Her mysterious 2007 disappearance from a Portugal resort made headlines around the world. For the first time, German investigators say they found emails linking the prime suspect, Christian Bruckner, to Madeleine McCann. Police say they also found an account where Bruckner shared media of child abuse with other abusers, then deleted all emails in 2007 when Madeleine vanished. Bruckner is currently on trial in Germany for unrelated sex crimes and denies any involvement in Madeleine's disappearance. The 3-year-old vanished from a bedroom in the family's vacation apartment while her parents were having dinner with friends in the resort's restaurant, leaving their 3 children, including Madeleine, to sleep. Kate and Jerry McCann were once named as...
Okay, so here's another thing. 2007, he deletes all his emails, right? 2007 is the exact year that I had to scrape email caches for a specific case that happened to be out of Poland, and then another case here in Texas. And it's a very bad year because that was the year that Yahoo drained its email swamp. Like, it data dumped everything forever. And not just Yahoo, a whole bunch of other email carriers, and then some folded. Like, do you remember like Excite or Prodigy, like the small Alta Vista? A lot of them folded and became other email entities. They became other companies, or they were absorbed into one, or they just folded completely. Where does all that data go? Well, in 2007, a shitload of it was released. And by that, I mean dumped in a digital trash can. And it stresses me out that that happened to be this year that this guy just got rid of everything. Yeah, the year of the Hotmail, if you will. All right, so let's continue.
Suspects and interrogated by Portuguese police before ultimately being cleared. Madeleine has never been found. And joining me now to talk more about this cold case is Pat Brown, nationally known criminal profiler. Mr. Brown, this is still a tough situation because I have to believe that everyone would want to know what actually happened to this little girl because
Remember Pat Brown? Pat Brown. We love Pat Brown.
Family is just in pain. Christian Bruckner was officially named as the prime suspect, but this was back in 2022. German officials haven't released any additional information. Where do you believe things stand right now?
Okay, Nick, let's get some real facts here. First of all, the McCanns were never cleared. There was no evidence of an actual abduction. There was evidence of a disappearance. Now, that could be an abduction or it could not be an abduction. And that's the way the reality is. As far as Christian Bruckner goes, is that guy a psychopath? Is that guy a sex predator? Absolutely, 100%. But these bombshell revelations that we hear over the last 17 years often turn into bombs. They actually aren't anything. Now, what happened with Christian Bruckner is this. And the claims being made about Christian Bruckner. Back in 2020, Prosecutor Walters said that, oh my gosh, we have concrete evidence that Christian Bruckner kidnapped and murdered Madeleine McCann. And then a wonderful Australian journalist by the name of Mark Sinoponoko got him in an interview, and he fumbled around, that not Mark, but Walters, and could not actually come up with any concrete evidence, didn't even seem to know where the cell tower was, and couldn't put Christian Bruckner as pings anywhere in Praia de Luz or next to the vacation flat at the time. So then we had all these years go by after 2020 where there were, lots of searches. Never once has there been DNA come up. Her clothing hasn't been found. Her body hasn't been found. Nothing has linked Christian Bruckner to the disappearance of Madeleine McCann. But now we have this bombshell news yet again. What is it? Well, back in 2019, apparently is when these emails actually showed up, and they were linked to a Hotmail account. And now we have this detective, Stampa, saying, oh, and it links to Madeleine McCann. Does Madeleine McCann have a Hotmail account? I don't think so. And if those emails had videos and photos in them, do you honestly think that 4 years later, we wouldn't have charges against Christian Bruckner? What they're saying, they're alluding to that he has something to do with this by these emails, but they never will come forth with what the emails actually have in them. So when I look at concrete evidence, I say, show the evidence. And they're not showing the evidence. They're just making claims. And I'm going to wait.
So, Pat, what does your experience tell you this? Your gut, you've used this in your professional work. Do you believe this is a purposeful distraction then?
It's really hard to say. The Madeleine McCann case has become the most known missing child case. I think.
So here's one thing. Love Pat Brown, but she has a different opinion than I do, right? Yeah, I know. I want to show you this because I want you to see her side. I don't agree with her, but some people do. I find what she says very interesting. I really do. And this is a little bit of an older one. I think this is from this is not from super recently. This is from I want to say a few weeks ago. But the point is, she has different thoughts on this case, okay? Now, there's other people who believe it was a woman who kidnapped Maddie, all right? But regardless, the email does exist. Now, after this interview, they did a deep dive on The Sun, and I'm going to put a link to that below, and it's a whole documentary, okay? And I'm very interested because I looked through Pat's playlist on the Maddy McCann stuff, and she hasn't talked about it recently. I might actually just email her because I am curious what she thinks after that documentary came out. The documentary goes more in depth on the email. I can't show that to you because it's The Sun. They'll fuck me. But she's a really good profiler. Okay. And so is Mike King, a couple of other people. I'm very interested to know what they think about this. I want to see people talking about the case and really geolocation stuff and stuff that has to do with the search. I would love to see Duty Ed and Duty Ron talk about what they found, especially related to the little boy that went missing in the clothing. And all of the caches of, Mike, don't you dare, Sherlock. How dare you? I caught it. I see what you're doing. I'm not saying it. How dare you? That was good. You were close. You almost got me there. AJ. But yeah, she has a difference of opinion. Nonetheless, really, News Nation is the only person that really reported heavily on the emails aside from, I think it was Dayline and then The Sun. But they do exist, okay? And after this, they put out this documentary, and it's not because of this. It was it just happened to be. And we watched a little of it, and then it shut us down. I don't know if you recall that, but that was the last Madeleine McCann episode we did. That documentary went very in depth on some of the things that the German prosecutors wanted to bring into the courtroom and weren't allowed to. And it was actively happening when Christian came in and asked if he could be released early. And they were not allowing that to come in. And that really infuriated me because this judge sucks. She sucks. The judge is bad. So that's what made me really go, Now I'm starting to think that this judge is trying to hide something, just like she tried to hide the rape victim from Ireland who she wouldn't let testify. So this is very interesting to me. I'm curious what Pat thinks. But also, we haven't heard a lot from her family recently, namely because every single time we do, they get reamed over the coals by the media. So I don't blame them for that. However, hear her out. It's very interesting, the take that a lot of people who have been following the case for a long time have in regards to the parents. I'm struggling to figure out why, and this is probably the most convincing argument. I'm still not buying it, but I respect her opinion. What do you think? Because I do think it was a poor parenting decision, obviously, to like leave your house with your kids there or your apartment with your kid there. Kids, because there were multiple children there. While you go eat tapas at a bar. That bad decision, sure. But the whole there wasn't a kidnapping thing is what throws me off, because I hear a lot of people say that. But the witness who saw someone carrying a little girl down the street seems to kind of go unacknowledged a lot of the time. And yeah, that is a good point. Actually, you're right. Yeah, they do. They do. My bio dad was telling me that a while back when we talked about this case. He said this is normal. And also I've talked about how in Afghanistan, the kids run around and there's one person watching like 30 kids. Like that's normal. But then when Lena Sardar Keel went missing in San Antonio, everybody freaked out and was like, who would make a parenting decision like that? And it's like, well, it's cultural, So it's very, very, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. What do you guys think? Being on vacation does make people do weird stuff. That is true. That is true. You're in call out protest mode. Who are you calling out and protesting? Do you think that Pat's on the right track, or do you think that Christian's the guy? I watched 30 Kids as a 12-year-old all summer. Jesus. That's heavy. That's a lot. All right, I'm gonna let her finish.
In history. And it has gone on for so long with so many machinations, it's really hard to understand what the issues are in it. I wrote a book on the case called The Disappearance of Maddy McCann, and it was the McCanns threatened Amazon with a lawsuit and had it pulled off the market. It will be returning, by the way, not at Amazon, but in another couple of weeks to other platforms. But that's not the important thing. The important thing is that Madeleine, we do not know what happened to her because we do not have substantial evidence. Now, there are those who have theories on one side or the other, missing or abducted. But at this point in time, there hasn't been enough proof to go to court with anyone. And that includes Christian Bruckner.
And there you go. That's the important part I wanted you to hear. I couldn't figure out how they are not charging him, right? And this is the best argument I've heard. And not only that, it kind of goes back a little. It takes a further step back, right? It takes a further step back in her saying, like, they don't have enough evidence against him. But the extra step is they don't have enough evidence against anybody. And that is a great point. Because if you were to take other suspects that have been accused over the years and you put their evidence up next to Christian Bruckner's, with Bruckner, we have an email. Okay. With others, we have people who have said, witnesses who have said this person did it, right? I spoke to this person and he said that, but it's hearsay. So if you think about it, there's not really enough evidence to convict anyone, let alone him, Not sure. I don't like that. The parents of a missing child don't want a book put out. I don't know. Yep. Well, there you go. Thought it must have been an employee. Other people have said that too. And if you think about that, okay with that theory, does another employee stand up against an email? Well, another employee who had access to the room, like, oh, this person had access to the room. This person knew the family was going to be out. This person even had a key if it were locked. That's pretty strong. But then you have, 300 employees. So which one? Now, there are 3 or 4 that have been called out over the years because they've had, criminal charges for other things. None of them having to do with kidnapping, but that's a good point. They could, and maybe people didn't look into them. This is a very tough spot to be in for the prosecution of Christian Bruckner, because again, they're in Germany. They're German. Damn.
Is he a creep? Absolutely. Was he a person who lived in the area? Absolutely. But if you look at many missing children's cases, and you look at how many sex predators in the area, you can come up with a whole bunch.
That is true. Also, though, living in the area is different from vacationing, right? And this is a vacation spot, but Christian did live in the area. The problem is when they searched at the time, they searched his apartment or his house before Madeline. At the time of Madeline, he was doing work for a guy and living next to the guy. So his neighbor was his landlord, and it was on an eastern part of where she went missing. So when they come back and they do the searches this time, that's why that guy was yelling, like, I've given them all these tips there. He didn't even live here at the time, yet they claim they found something. So it's not necessarily the wrong house, but it's the wrong house for the wrong time. Like, he did live there, but it wasn't at the time she got kidnapped. And that's the one they keep going back to search, when he was actually staying at the one nearby where the old lady got attacked. So yeah, that is an issue,
And that doesn't mean every one of them committed the crime.
Thank you for watching. Go to
There you go. And to add on to, I think what Equal Parts is saying, that doesn't mean every one of them committed the crime. This can go with anybody. So this is still a very confusing case. I wish they'd get their shit together, but in 10 days, Bruckner is going to be released. Who the fuck paid for that? And the police should look into that person. Just a thought. And this is me telling them how to do their jobs, and I do not apologize. Okay, moving forward, let's learn a little about Jones Beach. This is not crime stuff right here. This is just, we're about to learn about Jones Beach. Where does it rank on the baddest beaches list? Let's go forward.
For special events,
Right here.
Beach often comes
So this is the stadium in the background. I mainly just wanted to pause it to show you guys some of these spots. This is Jones Beach. This is where Rex worked, okay? Because a lot of people see it as this desolate, isolated area, Gilgo, but that's further up. Fire Island, Jones Beach, and Gilgo actually seem quite different. As I was researching, I'm like, whoa, these beaches are they're vastly different, even though they're in the same area. And from a satellite image, right, it's still, you don't even really notice all the buildings. And then when you're looking at it, you're like, oh, this is a pretty poppin' spot.
to Jones Beach often come for a concert or a special event like the fireworks show, which is back this year. What they don't always know, though, is that there are several ways that you can make a day or even an entire weekend out of the visit. Let's start with the actual beach. There's 6.5 miles of beautiful white sand where you can set up your chair and blanket, a half mile of still water bathing, and lifeguards at 7 ocean beaches to keep you safe. And if you're looking to have even more fun on the water, think fishing, stand-up paddleboarding.
Okay. You guys know how I love news anchors. This woman's enthusiasm is insanely contagious. I like sat up in my chair. I'm like, oh shit. She's like, the beach. Listen to how she said, the way she said fishing is she said fishing violently. She's like, fishing. I kind of love her.
Stand-up paddleboarding.
No, go back.
If you're looking to have even more fun on the water, think fishing, stand-up paddleboarding, kayaking, even launching a sailboat. There are several places to do just that, like right where we are at Field 10.
Jones Beach is iconic. It's known worldwide. And it's for the beaches that it's known.
So look at all this. There's there's buildings everywhere and I don't know what they're for. I think, there's one that looks just like the stadium, but it has a building in front of it that looks like a castle. But there's also another that looks like that. And I think that this is it. All this area did look different in the 80s, but not too different. Like all the pictures I could find, this paving was gone. This was all sand and dunes. It made me think, are they going to pave more of the beach? And if they do, are they going to find more stuff? Ooh.
Or especially, it's one of the largest, if not the largest, bathing beach probably in the country, in the world, and it's gorgeous.
There's also much more beyond the waterfront, like miles and miles of bike paths. And the boardwalk. You can bike here too, as you can see from this sign, or just go for a walk. But remember your sneakers because it is 2 miles long.
And so the bike path apparently wasn't there back then or in the 90s, right? So that was all sand. The boardwalk, I guess, was. And look over here to the right.
Prepare yourself. You're going to want to make several stops as there are plenty of places to shop, eat, and lots of attractions.
So there's this beach shop, right? But over here is this abandoned building. And I guess, so there's apparently these like snack stands that are everywhere. That's like, this is where you get snacks, pizza, like a drive-in. That's pretty cool. But then there's the East Bathhouse. And then there's a shack apparently near it. But then there's like this thing that I guess is just there for storage for beach supplies from back in the day. It's very, very interesting because then you have this old stadium in the background. So I was looking into how many of these are abandoned and how many have been converted into like stores and stuff. This one over here has been turned into a shopping area. But when? I still haven't found anything to tell me like when this was converted or if it's just always been there. But it's very interesting. There are no rocks on that side. North Shore is loaded with rocks. Oh, that's interesting. Here in Texas, we have a North Shore or North Beach in Corpus, and it's all seashells. Like there's no sand. It's just millions of seashells. And so when you step on it, your feet bleed.
Plenty of places to shop, eat, and lots of attractions along the way. Check out the 18-hole miniature golf course, which is at West Games on the Central.
Did she just say miniature? Wow. I like the way she said that. Jones Beach Ironman Triathlon, September 20th. Are you going to go, True Crime? Ooh, can we watch it? I would watch that if I'm here. I would totally watch that. I love Ironman competitions and strongman competitions and X-Arm. I will watch that. I told y'all, it's like Muscle Beach. Everyone's just working out. That's where my kids used to go get shells for my father-in-law for the scrimshaw. This scrimshaw, you mean? Did I tell you that this one broke? I dropped it and it broke. I dropped it and it broke, and then I fixed it. And I did a pretty good job. I love the scrimshaws you sent me. I have both of them. I keep them right here stuck to this little side panel because they're magnetic. That scrimshaw. No big deal. Didn't know what a scrimshaw is till I met Darlene, and now I have two. Dreams do come true.
On the way. Check out the 18-hole miniature golf course, which is at
Miniature.
West Games on the Central Mall. You'll also find there a cornhole court and pickleball nets.
I'm about to see pickleball. I've never seen it. I've heard of it. I heard you'll love it. It's like tennis because I play tennis. But I'm like, if pickles aren't balls, pickles don't bounce. Also, cornhole is such a stupid name for a game, and it makes me laugh every time.
And pickleball nets. And if you want activities with your kids and definitely the adults will not.
Pickleball bats? Wait, that just looked like tennis. It's just tennis.
And if you want activities with
fuck?
your kids and
Why aren't people just playing tennis? Why'd they have to invent a whole new sport? That's just tennis.
and pickleball nets. And if you want activities with the kids and definitely the adults will not forget.
Is it big ping pong? What are they doing? Is it just big ping pong? This is all new? Okay. So is the boardwalk new? Because it looked like there was a boardwalk in the background in the 80s footage. You'll see in a minute, but I can't tell. Also, look at all the vegetation and stuff. It looks so different from Gilgo with the reeds. Those who can't tennis pickleball. Oh, interesting. So it's just lazy tennis, or is it dynamic ping pong? I refuse to play those games because the names are stupid. Exactly. You keep thinking of Beavis and Butthead. Excellent.
You've got to come check out Wild Play. Take a 40-foot plunge on the
What?
What's to Fear jump, and you can even get a unique view of the park from their zipline courses. Or you could do like I'm doing and check out the adventure.
No, zipline scares the shit out of me. Let me tell you why. I'm about to freak you out and ruin zipline for you. A woman got bacterial meningitis ziplining, and all her legs and arms had to be cut off, and then she died. So no, thank you.
Park in the sky. Look, no hands.
The Central Mall area where we have various games, food, things like mini golf is now going to be open till midnight.
Would you listen to the sound of the waves crashing? There is nothing that I love more. If you do want to come visit Jones Beach State Park on a weekend, be sure to arrive early to avoid crowds and traffic. And of course, make sure you also check to see where you should park so you don't waste a second of your time.
There's me. There's me in the background. There's me right there. All right. And there's Hoogan's dad.
Montauk Caroline Flynn.
We're just walking through the shot to get to the water.
Island.
That is for sure.
Whoa, dude, your hair. Is this guy a cartoon character? So there you go. That's what Jones Beach looks like. That's where they found the clothing. Okay. So that's pretty spooky dooky. Let me show you. Hold on. We're going through. This is the newly renovated Jones Beach Theater. All right. And then after this video plays, you're going to see one from 1996. Someone put up. And then if you want, we can watch one from 1939. So we're going back in time here to look at the beach. Did she eat a bug? Who? Me? I didn't. Did she? Maybe. Yes, the woman got meningitis from the fucking zip line. She was zip lining and she put her hands up and it went against her hand and she got fucking the rope where the rope burned her. It got infected and they were like, oh no, your finger is going to fall off. And then she passes out. She wakes up. She's in a hospital and they're like, we have to chop your arms and legs off. And then she fucking died. So no zip lines for me. No, thank you. And also just no dangling. I don't want to be dangling in the air. Okay. I don't want to dangle. Don't ever make me dangle. I will be pissed if you make me dangle. Okay, here we go. Let's look at this newly renovated amphitheater.
So, News 12 wants to know, where do you go to the beach?
Well, Dave Matthews fans getting more than just a rocking show.
It was because something on that rope did it. Okay, something happened. Somehow, I don't need to touch a rope that has been ziplining strangers. I don't need that. I'll dangle for a dongle, but that's about it.
Oh, tonight on Long Island.
As Fox 8 Jody Goldberg shows us, they got to see firsthand the multi-million-dollar upgrade to the Jones Beach Theater.
From the old days to center stage, history is everywhere.
To take a venue that was built in the 30s, reintroduced in the 50s, has a whole new chapter now, 2024 and beyond.
This is the new Northwell at Jones Beach Theater after a 2-year-long multi-million-dollar upgrade.
The minute a fan now walks into Jones Beach, they're greeted by a gate like they've never seen before.
From the gate and Art Deco style marquee to the main entrance and beyond.
We took a lot of land that was on the property that wasn't really used effectively and efficiently.
For the first time, fans will have a new grassy area to hang before or during a show.
Kind of like a football field, right? Where the community can hang out, relax, pre-game before the show, play cornhole.
Tom C. and others at Live Nation.
You guys fucking love cornhole. You just love cornholing. Don't say she shouldn't have gloves on. She's a writer. Don't put people on a death line. Don't put people on a death rope. I don't know. Listen, I don't want to fight with you, AJ. But God damn it, you're not getting me on a zip line. It's never happening. It's just the risk is too high. Your tax dollars at work while people are hungry. Absolutely true, Angela. I mean, we should feed them. But they've opened a tapas bar, Angela. This really is a crazy theater. Also, there's this part where the water is. Shouldn't there be people because it's facing? So this is a natural barrier to prevent crowd surfing or what? This seems very not fun. Unless, or do they do like is this like where they do a shamu show?
The operator and producer of the concerts partnered with New York State Parks.
We've added 30% more food and beverage locations.
Yeah, so that lady that's still alive is a different lady. I want to say this one was, shit, it might have been in the South or in Hawaii. I don't remember. It was honestly like a panic story that scared the shit out of me. But there is the one lady in Georgia. I read that one. There was a lady in Hawaii who got, actually the lady who got it in Hawaii was hiking on the same hike I was on, and that's why I didn't want to go on it. I was finding every reason not to. So I put died on hike, and then I put Waimea, and then the first article that came up, I used that to cite my source to win an argument. And I ended up having to hike anyway, and I got very bad sunburns. But there was another lady, I'll find it. Maybe we'll watch it later. It was just very sad. This lady ended up, she survived for a little while, and then she got an infection and died. So I guess it could be considered user error, but I look back at what started the shit. What started the shit was ziplining. This is why I stay on the ground. That's why I stay on the ground as much as possible, because the second you get off the ground, you're risking your life.
And 20% more restrooms, so our fans can enjoy the show more.
Other renovations include new LED screens mounted on the sides of the stage, an upgrade to 7,000 seats, and the offering of a new 2-story membership-only club.
We never had the luxury and the opportunity to have fans be at an elevated level above Jones Beach Theater. But now we have the second floor of 40 Bay Club, which gives you total views of the bay.
The club features a vinyl wall.
Wait a minute. So they started a club for rich people to put them higher in the air so that they could look down and get a view of the bay, but not the stage? So they can see the side of the stage and the back of it, but they can't see the front? What the fuck is the point?
With more than 5 decades worth of history.
You got everything from the Beach Boys, who've played here more than 30 times, to Drake.
The theater opened a little later than usual because the renovations. They have 25 shows for this season with a full lineup expected for next.
The artists can play anywhere in the world, and we want
Dude, he literally just goes to Drake and then they cut it off. I'm definitely going to take this. I'm going to put K. Dot at the end. I'm going to put Kendrick Lamar. And as soon as he says Drake, it's going to cut to Kendrick walking, going, "Hey, Drake."
to play here in Long Island as much as possible.
To entice artists, all dressing rooms have been updated. Acts and their crews can also spend time on an exclusive beach leading up to the show.
This looks like Little St. James Island. I'm not going to lie. The whole getup right here. The Jones Beach Club looks like Little St. James.
We want them to feel like this is their home and that they never want to leave.
Whether you're backstage, on stage, or just enjoying the show, there's now something for everyone. In Wantagh, Long Island, Jody Goldberg, Fox 5 News.
All right. Okay, let me turn this down because the Murphys are a loud bunch, and I don't need the Murphy family copyright striking me. I support you, Murphys, and I love you. What we're about to watch is a home video, okay? This is not the news. This is not something that was put out. Well, I guess it was put out for the masses to consume, so I don't, I guess don't put it on YouTube, Murphys. We are in Karen's cat's funeral territory right now. We are about to watch a home video of a family who probably had no anticipation of us doing so. But it does have Jones Beach from 1996. Diddy is home now, and Mookie's is. I had to move his bed because he moved it in front of the door. Yeah, he did. He moved his room again. Okay, so let's take a look. This is what the same beach I've always been. This is the same beach in 1996. Okay, so here we go. And shout outs to the Murphy family. I hope they're alive and well. Look at that cartwheel. What a good job. So let's keep going. Look, there's a baby. That's fun. That's fun. The Murphys are having a good time at the beach. Let's go forward. Let's go forward. Let's go forward. Here we go. Nope. Go back a little. Right. Well, show me the people. Where's the people? There they are. So you can see some buildings in the background. What's interesting is this looks like a fucking house. And I didn't see any others on a lot of the old found footage I was looking through. But like, is that just a house on the beach? Because that's wild. This is 96, but is that a house on the beach? Also, everyone's very sunburned. Everyone's very sunburned.
I can't, Nick.
Now, I really enjoy seeing all the people. I'm sorry. I'm just letting it play through while all these strangers walk by. But I do like seeing the people. Okay, so this thing over here. We saw that earlier. It's very blurry. But this little... Is this where James Burke jerked off? Or is that somewhere else? This is mainly a question for Darlene or Dawn or anyone who lives out there. What's up with this? Is this that monument that James Burke, the police chief, jerked off outside of? Or is it somewhere else? Looks like a shed of some kind. I thought it was a little bigger, but maybe you're right. It's just interesting. Yeah, toddlers are always drunk. Was that a fart? Was that real? Was it real? Was it? Yeah. Oh my God. That was a big fart. If someone could tell me what that little building is in the back, the monument's inland more. No. So what is this thing called? Because I saw it on the drone flyovers of Jones Beach recently. And I'm trying to I looked at a map, but some of the older stuff isn't on it. So I'd like to find an older map if I can. Also, shout outs to this guy wearing a long sleeve sweatshirt at the beach with, what is that, loafers? Slinging a toddler around? He was in Farmingville. Oh, they farm up there on the beach. Excellent. Is it a lighthouse? It's a sewage station. Melissa, turd, is it? Mm. You know, Tiff, I respect that. He is full Guido. This is very mafia of this man. We've got slicked back black hair. He's got sunglasses, a long sleeve collared. Is that Patagonia? And then he's got tied up shoes. Chone's exposed while he's squatting, which is why we won't go back. But he's just flinging a toddler around the beach. This is mafioso behavior. Let's get this man a cigar. He is definitely a Gravano. Now, sometimes when we're looking through found footage, it's not that interesting. Yeah, rub the baby's belly. But mainly, I'm looking at these for terrain, okay? And as we look at he's just flinging that kid. Interested, is this house still here? This edifice, whatever it is, the shed, whatever that thing is. Do you see how there's just tree? There's nothing. And then in all the newer videos, it's just so many fucking buildings. Excuse me. So many buildings. This beach used to be pretty desolate of construction. And then there's this thing right next to it. Is this the stadium? What is this? But look at all the people. There's a shitload of people that go here. Oh, yeah, the jump, whistle, and fart will be coming soon. That's happening. That's going to be Christmas time, though. Oh, look, the baby's walking. Good for that. All right, and I think right after this, yeah, this is all just... After this is pretty much just the baby falling a lot. Shelter house for picnic and bath. It could be. And I was thinking about bathhouse, and I thought that maybe it was some cool gay sex thing, but no, I think it's just where people go to shower after they're in the beach, right? Or am I wrong? When you Google bathhouse, you don't get the most reliable results. I'll just say that much. Don't do it. Trust me. Jones Beach water tower. Is it a water tower? I thought it was a monument. I mainly learned too much about that lifeguard. I should have paid more attention to the monument. So this is 1939, just for funsies. Because why not? Everywhere is a sex place if you're creative. That is true. That is true. It's like a water tower. Interesting. So in the background here, this is Jones Beach. And look, they're doing archery and there's lights. It seems like there was more shit in the 30s and 40s. And then, whoa, what is she wearing? I just thought this was cool. I'm not going to lie. I thought this was really fucking cool. Let's go for it a little bit. Well, look what's in the background there. That's the monument thing. Look how nice it looked back then. Wasn't there a world war going on? Fascinating. And then here, look at all the houses. What I would like to do, ideally, because I think it would be interesting, is to find some of these spots on this video and see if we can compare them to now. Like this house. Is this house still there? Does it look like shit or does it look good? Is this building there? I don't know. You were arrested at the beach for using a lady toy. Jesus Christ, Melissa. This is why you had to move to Colorado, because they don't put up with that shit. That's not beach behavior. How dare you? Grounded. Also, thank you so much for the Hugin snacks. This will go to Hugin snacks. He'll get his own mini fridge and then he can headbutt it and move it around the house. I appreciate you. High-waisted? You talking about the pantaloons? What was he wearing? What are those called? The swim trunks back then? This is so cool. Where's the part right here? There is a duck. Sorry, I'm not trying to block it, but right here. Is this by that park where they found body parts, or was that another park? Right over here. I thought there was a skating thing near it. Look at these fools skate back then. Crazy how quiet people were back then, huh? No, I'm just kidding. That would be hilarious, though, if it's like... like, wow, these people never talk. There's not even the sound of the ocean. Everything was just real quiet. What are they skating on? Is this like a pond? And where can I find this? Because this looks like an area from some footage where they were digging. And I'm very curious. Look at all these houses. Your kneecaps are just watching them? No, just good drugs. Oh, that makes sense. Oh, high-waisted indeed. The woman's collared napkin selection. Oh. That thing she had around her neck was intense. It might have been a tent. It was crazy. Look at this hat. This could be us, but y'all playing. Look at her hat. Can we bring back? Nope, not going to say it. Almost said, can we bring back pointy hats? Realized what that sounded like. Not going to say it. Get rid of pointy hats forever. Never mind. Never mind. I like that hat, though. Okay, here it is. This is that stadium we were just looking at. This is why I think it's cool. Look at that. Look at all the people looking at things. There's a marching band. This is fun to me, looking at this shit. Like, it's so different now, but also kind of the same. Like, lots of people just having fun, tackling each other at a football game on a beach for some reason. Let's see, what did they spell out? Uh-oh. I mean, it is the 30s and 40s, so I would like to just say in advance, I don't know what they're about to spell out. It was a different time. Also, the bands marched pretty good back then. What is this, an F? Uh-oh. Let's keep going. Let's see what this word's about to... Are they spelling fart? I don't know what they spelled. You like it? Time travel? I agree. Yeah, no pointy hats. I take it back. Pointy shoes, much better. Hofstra. This is where they buried Jimmy Hofstra. I'm sorry. I apologize. I realize that's stupid. This guy had big ears. Well, we'll see a silhouette in a minute. It's fine. Anyway, this is the 30s and the 40s. This is what Jones Beach looked like. That's pretty crazy, huh? That's fun. That's fun. Okay. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to tell you a little bit more about the Jones Beach finds. Let me pull this up real quick. All right. Because again, I prepped and I have information for you. Okay. So we were talking about hot skates the other day, right? But I was also telling you about the stuff found at Jones Beach. Now, no, it was not found at this stadium. Okay. It was not found, right where we saw cornholing or anything. This was at one of the abandoned buildings nearby that they're renovating. Okay. So here's the new stuff. All right. Let me start at the top here. So this is another, I went through about 7 or 8 articles because it hasn't been on, they haven't really covered it on mainstream media, on the news, through any news reports or anything that we could watch. It's all been kind of in print and recently, and it's kind of the same stuff. So I was trying to go back to 2023 to see if there was any mention of this whatsoever 2 months after he was arrested, but people were still kind of obsessing over his prior interactions with other sex workers who had survived. And that was when that one girl was doing all of her interviews. And then, a woman was saying he jumped out of a bush at me. And that was kind of leading the charge. And then there were interviews with what's his name? Ray Tierney, and just not a whole lot about the clothing, if anything at all. There was an article about how they were doing a beach cleanup to start a specific part of the beach renovation, but that was about it. But there was a more recent article referencing that find that had a little more information. So I'm going to read you some of that, okay? Detectives probing the Gilgo Beach murders visited Jones Beach after workers there uncovered bloody gloves and other evidence near Rex Heuermann's former job as a teenager. The evidence was found less than 2 months after the summer in 2023, which we already know. And then they go on to explain what Rex was like, okay? Here's the important part. A cleanup crew at Jones Beach reportedly found weathered purses and women's and girls' clothing, including rayon miniskirts, pants, and torn shirts, buried about 2 feet deep buried about 2 feet deep near the bathhouse, which has been closed since 2009. Sorry, one of the articles below that says underneath the sand. We don't need that. So it was 2 feet deep near the East Bathhouse, which has been closed since 2009. Additionally, the bloodied work glove and the hidden leather strap inside a nearby shack were recovered. So there's a shack that was nearby. It had supposedly been locked, and it hadn't been dug through in ages. And they were supposed to go clean it out. So inside this shack, that's where they find a leather strap and a bloody glove. Okay? So that is nearby the bathhouse. So there's the East Bathhouse. There's a whole 2 feet. There's purses, rayon skirts, pants, and shirts. The shirts have the buttons popped off. They are torn. Okay. Trousers. Then nearby inside the shack, locked in it. So that's interesting. Pants is trousers. Yeah. So you've got a situation where somebody could obviously enter an area that was closed or locked. Could this be Rex? Well, he wasn't working there, right? In 2009 when it closed, which means it was open before that. So there is a potential of 20 years of people going in and out of this shack, possibly. So could it have been maybe somebody else's glove and leather strap? Or have they not changed the locks for that long and Rex just had this access? Or did someone break into it? Was there a broken window? I'd like to see. So I'm going to be looking for as much as I can. And if you guys want to help, if you can find anything with people doing beach exploration, especially on YouTube. One of the reasons I was bringing up the magnet fishing thing earlier is because there are so many YouTubers that take the metal detectors, they go on the beach and they film themselves, and they're likely walking by this shit. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to go ahead and try to find any footage we can of anybody on the beach close enough to said shack so that maybe we can see the windows, maybe we can see what it looks like. We're going to need to look at a lot of urban exploration, beach exploration videos, magnet fishing likely, and metal detecting. So it all loops back around, okay? So I'm going to be kind of collecting those and combing through them to see if I can find anything. People keep losing their key. That's a good point. Somebody could have lost their keys. It's just interesting because, yeah, or they never locked it because the caretaker was lazy. Possibly. Who was the caretaker? Did he know Rex or she? I just have so many questions because the article by the Post made it seem like these things were found nearby, but not in a shack. And how near is near? And the fact that the others were buried is strange. If I find your high school ring, I will let you know, darling. I will absolutely let you know. Of course. Of course. So, with that said, there is a history of Jones Beach video that was put up by Ad Alessi, which is kind of cool. And it does have a bit of a map on it. So I figured that I would show this to you because this person put a lot of work into it. And their last name's Alessi. So I was like, it's a sign. Fuck it. All right, here you go. Also, hello, YouTube bad actors. Nice to see you. I made a great joke at the beginning for you. I hope you enjoy it.
Jones Beach State Park is located in southern Nassau County. The park is renowned for its great beaches, which are 10 miles long, facing the Atlantic Ocean, and is one of the most popular locations on the East Coast with over 6 million visitors per year. The park was created during the administration of Robert Moses as president of the Long Island State Park Commission, for which he wrote legislation in 1923. As part of the development of parkways on Long Island, Moses' first major public project, Jones Beach State Park, is considered to be one of the most beautiful parks in the world, free from housing developers and private clubs, and is instead open for general public.
So Robert Moses was alive in the 20s. Didn't know that. And that's who all that shit's named after. I almost said blamed after, named after. This is the cool monument we've seen in the background of everything. There you go. You see the little stadium nearby. So I guess that is the exact location of the stadium. Interesting. I love this kid. He put in effort. He made a map. Love that for him. Also, I was not muted. He just goes silent randomly, but interesting. See how he did it again? And then there you go. You can see, oh, look at all those people. I would be freaking out. This is like Fremont Street in Vegas. And see, this part looks familiar. Like right here, this part is what looks like the Gilgo Strip. Also, hello, baby boysenberry. It's nice to see you. Fence down. We got a fence down.
Built in the 1920s, many of its buildings and facilities feature Art Deco architecture. In the center of a traffic circle, Moses ordered the construction of an Italian-style water tower to serve as a center feature of the park. The park opened to the public on August.
The park was sponsored by Best Buy. Also, that's a pretty cool view. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty sick. I would totally go to a concert there. But see over in the distance, this is why I wanted to pause it here. Do you see over in the distance? So you could take a boat over there and then this building back here. I wonder if this is the building that we were just looking at that I was like, is this a house? Like, I think that that's the building and that the beach we were looking at might have been there. That makes sense to me. Also, there's another inlet like that pokes out that has a snack stand at it. And that's the one that you can only get to by boat.
4th, 1929, along with a causeway that provided automobile access from the mainland of Long Island.
So this is the infirmary. No, I'm just kidding. I do not know what this building is, but it looks sick. This would be a great public library. I'm going to be honest. This looks pretty sick. Like it could be a library. It could be, I don't know. What do they do in there? Is this the Illuminati building? You tell me. Also, what is this for? What is this little dome thing? Also, I like the wooden barn doors. What's going on here? What is this building? Is this the thing that was shut down? Is this a bathhouse? Is this where you go bathe? This is what it looks like from far away.
Primary buildings on a.
He's going to tell us, look, that's the men's comfort station. Are you sure James Burke wasn't jerking off in here? And why is the men's comfort station next to the women's restroom? I have
Jones
questions.
Beach site are two enormous bathhouses on the west and east side, and the
There you go.
231-foot.
There you go. So that's the bathhouse. So this is one of the bathhouses. It's so much bigger than I thought. That's what she said. So this is one of the bathhouses. Okay. Yeah, he's on mute right now. He'll come back. He'll come back. Don't worry. Tartaria? This is a bathhouse.
Primary buildings on the Jones Beach site are two enormous bathhouses on the west and east side, and the 231-foot water tower, all built to Moses'
So it is where dudes jerk off. Because it's called the men's comfort station. It's a bathhouse. So it is. I knew it.
specifications. After rejecting a number of submissions by architects for the bathhouses, he selected designs by Herbert Magoon. Moses also picked out the building materials, Ohio sandstone and Barbizon brick, two of the most expensive materials available.
Barbizon was also a modeling company in the 90s that ripped off my Aunt Kathleen. He's being real quiet about this dome now. Now he's shushing. Now he's not saying much about the dome. So that's a huge bathhouse. So that's what was locked down. And also, is this the shack? Is this what they're talking about? Because it's nearby, but it doesn't look like a shack to me. It looks like a tiny building. This looks like a tiny building too. Who are these guys? This is interesting. I like how this guy does this. Okay, so right here, this is the park information station. I thought this was going to be the bathhouse. This is the one that I said was converted into stores, right? Okay, this. So this building is in front of the East Bathhouse, right? So is this the shack is what I'm curious the most about. It's why we sat through this wonderful presentation. And I got to tell you, I did put it on mute at the beginning because I couldn't handle him going in and out. But yeah, now, like, what is this? Do you guys think this is the shack they were talking about? With a leather strap and a bloody glove in it? It is a shack. And then Shaquille O'Neal just pops up. What do they mean in a shack? All right. And there's that thing all lit up pretty like. All right. And then there's all the there's the boat. That's the boat that they make you drag across like Tough Enough if you want to be a fucking, if you want to save lives like Darlene. Yeah, what the fuck is that shack? It does look like a one. You guys want to see it again? I wonder if this is the one. Because the way they were talking in the articles, you got the bathhouse, you got the house, and the shack's going to be over here. Okay, so now let it move forward. We're seeing too much of these guys in their jeans. Wait, did I go too far back? Did I too far back and miss the shack? What's going on here? There it is. So this is that little house that was in front of it. So there's the boardwalk and it leads in. Then you have the bathhouse over here to the far right. You have this little thing. And then look, that's a shack, right? I feel like that's the shack. Now, I don't see any windows, but it is kind of blurry and we can't see the other side. I would like to see more of this shack. Because when you tell me there's a shack nearby, I think, what do you mean shack? That looks like a shack, right? That looks like a shack. You think it's it? I stand with Darlene. All right. So I'm willing to guess, but I'm not certain that that's the area where this clothing was likely found. I will be trying to figure out if that is east or west because they didn't really tell us, but we will find out and I will report back to you. Next, let's look at some footage. We were talking about hot skates last night. All right. Barbizon was a great investment. That's true. Cum Pig. Cum Pig's Aunt Kathleen is so funny. Jesus Christ. Tim Dillon's hilarious. I was watching him last night, his most recent episode, and it was killing me. I was laughing so hard. I was like, oh my God, this is so perfect. He gives a big speech about he's doing a character, if you will. And let's just say the speech ends up, it's like, where are we going with this, Tim? And then it ends and it's perfect. And I'm like, that is a great fucking point. Anyway, we were talking about hot skates last night. Okay. Hot skates. And you guys one of you messaged me about it saying that you used to work there. Okay. So let me pull this up real quick because I have some information to read you about this. Some of you were asking me to talk about it more because you didn't hear about these cases. You were like, could you tell us more about this? So I tried to summarize it the best I could because it's a lot, but hear me out. I'm going to read this to you. I wrote this earlier today about the hot skates murders, and I tried my best to summarize it. Okay. So for those of you who don't know, same general area, but further up. So there's like, and please correct me if I'm wrong, New Yorkers, but you've got Gilgo's a long stretch, right? And then you've got Amityville over here and Maynardville, and all along the stretch of the beach, you have all these different towns. There's Babylon, Amityville, Maynardville, Massapequa Park, which is apparently different. And they have a whole thing going on Facebook. And then you've got further up, going all the way up the coast, you've got all these different names. You got the Jones Beach, the Fire Island, all that shit, right? So there's an area called Lynbrook, and this is where if you come off, I think it's called Sunset Highway or Suncoast Highway, there's a highway there, and that's where Joel Ripken used to dump a bunch of his victims and where he tried to cruise down to get away from the cops, right? So in that same area, if you keep cruising it, I believe that's where you pop out and you're at this club called Hammerheads. All right. So from there all the way to the skating place, if I remember correctly, there's kind of this strip where you can take a few roads to veer off course. But in general, this is like it's Sunrise Highway. Thank you very much, Charlene. Yeah, there's like a lot of stuff. Like you can just kind of exit and boom, you're at a store, you're at a restaurant, you're in a neighborhood, and then boom, you're at hot skates, right? And the whole situation with hot skates, this was when Rex would have been in high school and then fresh out of high school, if you will. Okay. I'm just going to give you a summary of it, but hot skates murders was the reference given to these 1984 cases. They started in the 80s in 1984, and it was a rape and murder of a 16-year-old girl named Teresa Fusco. She was a former employee of the hot skates rolling rink in Lynbrook, New York. So it's very close by. It's not that far away. There were 3 men convicted of the crime, okay? But they were later exonerated because of DNA evidence. So that tells us that their DNA was neither at the crime, nor can we definitively say that anyone else's who was there is on record, because when they ran the DNA, they ran it through CODIS and they didn't have any pop-ups, right? But they haven't run Rex's yet, because I believe you have to get a conviction in order to do that, correct? If that's so, I'm very curious if and when they run it, if it's going to pop up for any of these cases. Now, one of them, the first one is Teresa. She's a 16-year-old girl. She was last seen November 10th, 1984. She was leaving her job at Hot Skates. It's a roller rink in Lynbrook on Long Island. Her nude body was found December 5th. So almost a full month later in a wooded area near the roller rink. So she hadn't gone too far. An autopsy revealed she'd been sexually assaulted and strangled to death. So this is a strangulation. I believe some of the documents I was reading said ligature, and that there was some potential rope found in a guy's car that was later cleared. Now, I don't know how accurate that was, because others just say manual strangulation. It seems like there is a mix-up on that in the media. But we do have some court records that we're going to read later on in the week that's going to clear it up for us. The convictions. Okay. In March of 1985, so that's what, about 3 months later, police arrested and interrogated John Kogut, who eventually confessed to the crime and implicated two of his friends, John Restivo and Dennis Halstead. Despite Kogut later recanting his confession, all three men were convicted and sentenced to 25 years life in prison. All right. So there was DNA testing in 2003, more advanced DNA testing. It was performed on evidence from the crime scene. They don't say what the evidence was used for, though, but the results conclusively excluded Kogut, Restivo, and Halstead. The convictions were overturned based on this new DNA evidence, and a judge vacated the convictions of the three men. Kogut was later found not guilty at a retrial. So he did have a retrial in 2005. So that is 20 years later. That's kind of a big deal to spend almost 2 decades in prison. The Innocence Project did have a hand in this. The case still remains unsolved, though, and the convictions are now overturned. So the murder of Teresa Fusco is now considered a cold case. So the Fusco case drew attention because there were other unsolved disappearances in the same area during the same time. The other women from the area are Kelly Morrissey, Jacqueline Martorella, and they disappeared or were found dead around the same time. They were all linked by investigators to the same general area, but no suspect was ever charged in any of those cases. Now, some people have drawn connections between these crimes and the Long Island serial killer, aka Lisk case, through potential links, but that has not led to any arrests in the Fusco case, just to be clear. So those cases all kind of happened in the same cluster in the mid to late 80s. All right. So starting in 84, I mean, really technically 83, but in 84, because there was some other assaults, but I believe that those were kids who had at one point, or one was a kid who at one point went to Lynbrook and then moved to Brooklyn, and then that person was assaulted in a different park, and people were trying to draw connections to that, but that had nothing to do with this because they ended up catching that, and that was a 16-year-old boy who was going around molesting kids. So that was horrible, but not at all linked. What I thought was interesting is if you look into any other possible missing persons, and again, we didn't even consider in that mix some of the other kids who were found at that time, and we've got the whole Hammerheads situation. So there's just a lot going on in that area back then when it comes to rape, abduction, and murder of younger teens. Now, here's another thing. There's a woman named Janice Donahue, and she went missing in 1983. I saw some people trying to connect her because they were trying to connect all the murders. And when I was looking into it, it seems that even her kids thought that the husband did it, their dad. I'll read you a little bit about that. Basically, Suffolk County Police continued to search by digging up a backyard in Brentwood for a missing Long Island woman that disappeared in 1983. After NBC New York first reported, and this is from NBC New York, first reported the case in May, Lisa Rizzi continued her search for Janice Donahue, Rizzi's biological mother. So Rizzi was adopted out. Okay, she was given up for adoption by Donahue, and then a woman named Janice Sancombe at birth adopted her. Once Rizzi lost her adopted parents as an adult, she set out to find her bio parents. She found her father in New Jersey, but soon learned her mother is likely a murder victim. So basically, she goes to find her bio mom, finds out her mother was murdered, but then finds her real dad. So she found out that her mom had gone missing from Long Island on Wicks Road in Brentwood in December of 1983. So not too long before these. Her husband, Richard Donahue, he reported her missing 3 weeks later. It took him 3 weeks of his so-called wife that he loved being missing, 3 weeks before he even reported her. She hasn't been seen or found since that holiday season. And here's another thing. Both happened around November, December, but a year apart. According to police reports, Richard Donahue claimed that in the midst of a divorce, his wife ran away. So he was saying that they were in the middle of divorcing. So that's very interesting, right? So people were trying to connect these two cases. And I thought that that was so fucking irresponsible because her circumstance is entirely different. Not only that, but in the early to mid 2000s, the family, the biological daughter and the biological son of them of this couple who the mother is missing, and they find the dad. She finds the dad. The dad says, like, I had nothing to do with that. But they start looking into it and they realize, okay, well, he said that they were getting a divorce, but they weren't. Also, it took him 3 weeks, and it just really bothered them, the son and the daughter. Now, keep in mind, the daughter had been adopted out and grew up separate, I believe, of the son, but they're both on the same page. Like, this is pretty fucked up, you know? So they end up going out and digging into the yard of this house on Wicks that the family had lived in, or that the husband and the wife had lived in. And they did find what looked like a potential body shape using this equipment, but they dug and they dug and they went over 4 feet deep and they could not find anything. So it's like considered an anomaly. So they didn't find anything. So then fast forward, the father, I believe, aka Janice's husband, is dying of, I think, lung cancer or something. And while he's dying, he's on his deathbed. And the daughter and the son are like, can you just fucking tell us what you did to mom? Can you just please, like, you're dying. It's not going to you're not going to go to jail. Just tell us. And he said no. He didn't tell them anything. He just refused. I don't believe he even denied it. He just wouldn't say anything, and he just died. So they are still trying to figure that out, but even the kids think it was the husband, and a lot of people think it was the husband. So I just want to put that out there in case anybody wants to throw out, maybe this person killed Janice. Yes, it was around a holiday season a year before. But to be fair, you know, even the kids think it's the husband. It's very suspicious. And also, to be fair to him, in case he didn't do it, he could have confessed, and he didn't on his deathbed. And it does make me wonder if maybe they are overlooking something. Maybe they were having problems and privately discussed a divorce, and maybe they just didn't tell anyone about that. Maybe she took off after having a fight with him. And maybe, unfortunately, she could have been the victim of anyone from Rifkin to Shawcross to fucking Schulman. You know, that there's a lot of pervs around that time, bad people. At the same time, she didn't really fit the victim profile for some of them. But for the young girls who were not sex workers, who were murdered in the area at the time, I mean, yeah, maybe she didn't fit the profile of age, but circumstance, certainly, you know, that could make sense. So I can see how it's a bit sus, but I believe Rex would have been a bit young. I feel like an older woman would have beat the fucking shit out of him, or not been in his vicinity, if that makes sense. But it's very interesting. And yeah, and also the kids were adopted out, Laura. So, I mean, there's really no way of them knowing, oh, great, everything just froze on my screen again. Will it come back? Will it come back, StreamYard? Okay. Is it blacking out? It's blacking out. That's incredible. I love that. I love that for us, StreamYard. Okay, it's back finally. Great. All right. So just want to clear that up just in case anybody, you know, wants to loop those in. I don't think that they're connected for now, but I do think it's an interesting circumstance. And the fact that the dad kind of refused to say anything seems kind of weird to me. It does make me wonder if there's something going on there, but who knows? But yeah, that was all around the same time. So now what I'm going to show you is back to the hot skates information. And then we're going to get on out of here. We're probably going to have to do Etherman at another day because I really do have to go soon. I'm going to just take from now on, when I plan an episode, I'm going to take whatever the episode is, the last thing that's on the agenda, and I'm just going to get rid of it because we never have time. It's like Matt Damon and Jimmy Kimmel. I get it. I get it now. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys real quick, and we're going to go more into hot skates later because I want to read you some of the information on Restivo and why it was overturned. And I am waiting on one FOIA for that, but I think it's going to be sent to me electronically tonight, or tomorrow. I should say tomorrow, probably by the end of the workday. So what I'm going to show you now is I want to show you some old hot skate stuff, just because I think it's interesting. And you know we love found footage here. I'm going to show you two specific not interviews, but two specific pieces of old material. One is a TV commercial for Hot Skates Roller Rink from '84, and that is the year that Fusco went missing. So this is from that very year. And then the next one is in 1998, way later, but the nostalgia vibes are strong. So I'm like, we should check this out. This is pretty neat. And again, I really do like when looking at a case, no matter where it is, but especially if it's outside of my scope, like outside of Texas and stuff. And also I did not miss your question. I just was trying to remember and look through my notes for a second earlier, Tiff. I don't know if she was tiny. I'll find out though. That's a good question. Like, was she like 100 pounds? That does make a difference. That is a good point. But here, I'm going to show you, this is the TV commercial for the Hot Skates roller rink. I do think it's important to kind of put things in perspective. One of the reasons I watch the Jones Beach videos and I like to look through that stuff is to see the terrain. Like, I was trying to picture what a bathhouse looked like and what this shack looked like. And I feel like it really helped with perspective to see it, but it took I had to watch a lot of found footage videos and random news pieces put up. And it might take a minute, but when you find it and you do think like, oh, this is it, if you can confirm it, it really does give you a bit more perspective. I think with places like businesses, like if a business is, has a crime occur at it, like that Lululemon store, I'd never been in a Lululemon. So I'm like, well, what do these stores look like? What's the layout? What is this? Well, it's in Bethesda, Maryland. Well, where is that? What's the weather like? Like things like that. Can I see someone walking around the area to see how trafficked it is at 9 p.m. at night? Well, here's a video of people walking by on that street at night. So let's watch that. It really does kind of give you a different view. And it also, to me, makes the crime scene and the people in the town seem more real. And I think that implements a sense of need to be careful. It humanizes all of it. So I think that if you do that, it kind of will keep you from, and I say you meaning me, just anybody who talks about these cases publicly, it kind of keeps it in your mind like this is a real place with real people that have real lives. And it's important to be careful with what you're saying about them and their town and to make sure you're accurate. So I like to watch these things just to get a good view of not only what it physically looks like, but like what the public thinks of this place. Is it a restaurant where everyone agrees it's good, or is it a place where the mafia runs it? Because you're going to get a totally different set of informative values from Yelp than reality. The townspeople might be like, that's where Bucky got off in 1987. And it's like, what happened to Bucky? So for me, I like to do that. And with the hot skate stuff, everything with people skating is usually, you can find it in video form. I can see pictures of it everywhere. But when it comes to this, I'm like, what was hot skates like? Was it really that hip? Because for me, skating rinks were like, man, that's lame. I don't want to go to that. I want to go to the fucking Hanson concert. I want to go see Marilyn Hanson or whatever. But like back then, skating was apparently the big shit. Like everybody wanted to go skating. This is where you go to noodle around. This is where you go to do hood rat shit with your friends. And I had no idea. I was like, skating seemed so pure to us in high school. But you got to remember, like, there was a time once when swinging your hips like Elvis made you like, you're a bad kid and you're doing crazy shit, Couple skate, yeah, that's a whole thing. And believe it or not, in college, I actually DJ'd at a roller skating rink for a couple of months, and I really hated it. I did not enjoy it. I liked hanging out there sometimes, but it just wasn't for me. I just don't remember it being like this is a place where all the teens go. It was like a lot of little kids with parents trying to help them. So it's kind of weird to put it in perspective, but to think back to like, oh man, the 80s were cool because it was when everything was new and fun and like nobody had shit on it yet. You know what I mean? Like this is the dopest place to be in town, it seems. And I'm going to show you why. Because this is not found footage festival shit. This is not going to get goofy. This is real ass hot skates skating rink commercial from 1984. Look at that drip. I like her sweater. What is on that poster?
Going tonight? Of course I am. I wouldn't miss it for the world. And you know who's going to be there.
Do you really think I'll be there?
Oh, I'm sorry. What was that? Can we go back? Was that Careless Whisper, George Michael? Yes, it was.
What are you doing tonight?
And the transition into the 90s is incredible. And also, I'm sorry that was so loud, but how funny was that? This kid, and then they show the kid struggling, and it's like, bom, bom. I'd be so pissed if my parents put this up. Look at him tearing ass. Bom, bom, bom. This poor child. So this is Hot Skates. Parents vlogging in the 90s. So fun. So do you see how the crowd is so different? I just want to point that out. Earlier, we saw fucking Billy Idol lookalikes. We saw George Michael. We saw women who are like, oh my God, let's go there to the skating rink. We're going to get laid. And now it's a kid disappointed because he's getting brownie cake, and there's like a bunch of 10-year-olds, and this dad is either on a phone or asleep standing up. Like, it's a very different crowd. Again, let's just take a look at the dynamic one more time. Will it let me go back? Take one more look at that. That's Hot Skates in the 80s. George Michael's there. Oh my God. Look at this crowd. These are adults, okay? And then we go to the 90s. And it's children everywhere. And one dad. Like, this is a very different atmosphere. You feel me? Very, very different atmosphere. So in the 80s, this was where kids went to party, but like mostly older kids. Yeah, payphones were still a thing. Yeah, and so when I went, it was inline skates. But back then, it was normal ass roller skates. You guys were grunge. It always depended on the time you went in. Nights were way different than daytime. That is true. Especially here in Austin, like there's like bowling alleys and stuff here where it's just normal bowling. And then at night, it becomes a rave. And I'm like, what is happening? Why is everything glowing in the dark? This is upsetting. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So that is the roller skating rink where the girls went missing. We are going to go like, well, they didn't go missing from the rink, but leaving. They worked there. So we're going to go through some of those cases again. I know that we talked about it. I think we talked about this on Melanie's channel a long time ago. But with the inclusion of the 80s and 90s material at Jones Beach, I do want to kind of look into that some more. And I'd like to go through those cases again. I'm very interested in what a lot of these victims were wearing when they went missing, and if it matches any of the loose descriptions that we've gotten thus far about this hole and this leather strap, because it's very concerning. It's very concerning to me. Anyway, we're going to be doing that in the next few days. I just wanted to kind of go back and take a look at some of that. And I don't think we have time. Yeah, we don't have time for Etherman. We're going to do Etherman tomorrow. Basically, with Etherman, do me a favor. Look up Etherman. Get prepped for him. It's going to have, it's a heavy topic. It's molestation, rape, assault, doing this by putting ether over women's mouths, breaking into their house, getting away with it for many, many years, over, 2 decades, in multiple states, Colorado, New Mexico, Texas, and Oklahoma, possibly other places, from a traveling salesman whose second wife described him as looking like kind of a scruffy Ben Affleck. And he was terrifying. And it was the year I moved here when he hit West Campus. But his second wife said, oh shit, he was in Austin that week when the rape stopped in Pueblo, Colorado, and in New Mexico, which is where he spent most of his time. So this fool ends up getting caught after being splayed all over the news for a hot minute. He gets caught, and with the backlog of a lot of kits, a lot of women didn't know that their DNA matched to, or his DNA matched to their cases until much later, and he was already convicted. And now that they're clearing out cold cases for rapes and assaults at a rapid fire pace at a lot of jurisdictions, especially the colder ones, there's likely going to be some new movement or stacked charges against that man because it was so specific what he did. And there are actually cases on record where something similar happened, but you don't see him get convicted for any of them. So it's very interesting. It's like, well, have they not processed that case? Is it not opened? So I wanted to look at some other cases that could potentially be a match. Also, what's really interesting is there, not just him, but a couple of other people who have been convicted recently or accused or going through trial for specific cases related to rape, assault, attempted murder. That it's like, oh, this guy started here and he was in his 40s. There's a case that we're going to talk about way later where that happened. But it's like, that's not very common. Like, usually, like, you start much earlier, like these monsters, and then they escalate, right? So I have a hard time believing that that's all there is for some of them, especially one serial killer in particular named Paul that we're going to talk about. So no thank you to that Paul. But we're definitely going to be, yeah, that's the problem, Cindy, is nobody covered it really. Like a few people did, but it was kind of a piss poor job. And by then they didn't have a lot of the cases connected. So the ones that did cover it, it's not recent. What I would recommend is mainly look up Ether Man and watch the news stories about him, or you could just wait and I'll show you some of them. But there's a lot of newspaper articles about him. I was learning about him through the news, but also we didn't know who he was. He didn't have a name at the time. He was just Ether Man. His name is Howard Bruce. So Howard Bruce, if you look him up and type in Ether Man, there are so many victims of this guy. And it was from the mid 2000s or the early 2000s, late 90s until 2009. And he focused on college campus areas and focused on petite, beautiful women on college campuses. And he would stalk them, break into their houses, but he would also turn off electricity, cut power lines, cut phone lines. Very JJD. But we're going to be looking into him a lot more. I don't think he looked like Ben Affleck. His sketch actually didn't really look anything like him. And even his second wife was like, nah. And she tried to draw. You know what? There's an episode of Who the Bleep Did I Marry about him. It's called Who the Bleep Did I Marry? I think it's season 2 or 3. And it's towards the end. I want to, for some reason, I'm thinking episode 14. But his wife, Janice, I remember her name. It was Janice, I think. Or no, was it Jolyn? I actually don't remember her name. It was Janice or Jolyn. It might have been Jolyn. She talks about it. She's the one who was interviewed for that episode. I remember I watched it when it first came out, and I was like, oh, they got his wife, but it was his second wife, not his first. His first wife is who he had a pretty bad history with, and she's not really spoken out to anyone except one news story. We're going to go really in depth on him, especially because I do think there's a lot more victims out there. And I do think he escalated it before he was caught, but he was caught for rapes. I think he might have possibly murdered people. Yeah, that was a show on ID Network. It is very cheesy, but there is one episode on him. Did I marry a rapist? Let me look up what episode it is. Because it really is. I mean, that show's so corny, but I have to say that is a crazy episode. It made me go, oh shit. Okay. Yeah. And that was 2012 when that came out. So that was like 3 years after it happened. Yeah. Robert Howard Bruce is the guy's name. So it's season 3, episode 14. I was right. It was 14. Yeah. Season 3, episode 14. And it's called, oh yeah. And then she went on Dr. Phil. So that was pretty crazy. Joy Lynn Martinez is the second wife. So yeah, who the bleep did I marry? That is crazy. There are kits being processed just now from cases from back then that very much match his MO. And we haven't heard anything about it in the news. And I'm very curious, are they going to be because he got like 156 consecutive life sentences or something. He got like an insane, like it was crazy. And he deserved every bit of it, of the sentencing. But I am curious what's going to happen with those cases. And I do think that there are some that could be attributed to him. And I'm not sure why they haven't been, or if I just don't know. Again, doing this multi-state is bold as fuck, but it also creates complications. And he had a lot of very similar behaviors of some of the other killers that we've been talking about, but some that we will. The CODIS criteria is difficult. They can't do YSTR, I believe, to isolate it. That's kind of separate. That's like an IgG thing, but it's not just constantly running everything across everything else like we thought. It's a situation where, first of all, it's different state by state. In some states, you can't run someone through CODIS until a certain point. And it basically has to be a specific amount of match at the crime scene. So if you have shitty DNA for the suspect, but great DNA from the crime scene that is relative to a victim, but or let's just say you have DNA relative to anybody and you have enough to do IgG analysis, that's like totally separate of CODIS. But then you run that person once you figure out who is related to this person against CODIS, but it has to be manually entered at that point. If you're an offender who does a sexually violent crime and you have your DNA in CODIS, it's because they take it from you and put it in there because you've been convicted. In some instances, they have a suspect with no name that they put in there, right? And then they have to figure out who that person is later down the line, which they would likely have to use IgG unless they were convicted prior. But if you've never been convicted of anything, they can have your full profile in CODIS. But until you get convicted and your name is put in there, you're never going to be ran against that stuff. So it's a little more complicated than people think. And simultaneously, if you only have parts of an offender's DNA and you don't even have their name yet, then that's not something that necessarily, basically when you're running it through CODIS, you're looking for other crime scenes where that same profile was left. Not so much the offender. If the offender's not popping up, you haven't done IgG on it, you're just not going to see them unless there's a certain amount of, I want to say, alleles. So it's a little complicated on what they can put in it. But also there's the, is it VICAP, I want to say, where it's literally specific things that the offender does, like signatures, things at the crime scene. You can compare crime scenes as well with that. Are people in jail, not prison, in CODIS? Well, that depends. Like in Austin, they can take your blood if you get a DWI, right? They can take your blood and you'll be in jail, but your blood gets put in a database. Is it CODIS? Well, it depends. If you murdered someone, what is it called? Vehicular manslaughter. Like if you kill someone, it's considered a violent crime, but it's not a sexually violent crime, right? But it's still a violent crime. You are an offender, and because your DNA is in there, you can likely still get busted for a sexually violent crime, right? But in order to run an offender who has not been convicted yet, that's a different story. Like in New York, they can't do that. You have to be convicted, and it's got to be a certain type of crime. We're gonna have to do a CODIS episode because it's in the OSINT thing, like the cheat sheet. You can go click on it; it'll show you, walk you through all of it. But maybe we should just show it on here. It's very complicated. You hear him squeaking in the background; it's very distracting. You voluntarily give cops your DNA to exclude yourself. Can they keep it? I don't know. That's interesting. I'm not sure. I actually don't know. Huh. It's a good question. I'm going to write that down because I have no idea. That's a Duty Ron question. I'm going to ask him, though. I'm just going to text him in the middle of the night and be like, hey, if you voluntarily give cops your DNA, No, I'll message him tomorrow. I'm going to find out because I have no idea. I actually don't. Like if they, like you're saying, like if they're trying to figure out a suspect and they take 1,300 people's DNA voluntarily to exclude them, right? Does that, I mean, I don't think it'll get run through CODIS, but if the question is, can they keep it? I have no idea. That's Mookie's toy squeaking, Laura. That's his toy squeaking. That is all that is. That is definitely Hugin squeaking. Yeah, I have no idea. I know they can't put it in CODIS because you didn't do anything, but I mean, they could potentially put it in. See, that's the thing. I don't know, because if they have you sign something saying it's just for this, then that's one thing. But if they have you sign it so that they can keep it on file, does it go into a research database project? And then is it pullable later, like that Florida archive that they had where they found someone connected to the yogurt shop murders, but then it ended up being randomized? And you don't know the person's name, but it was created by the FBI. I don't know. Mookie's, that's Hugin. He's just straight up balling, literally. So yeah, that's a great question. I'll find out though and let you know, because I have no idea. Like, I would think you would sign something saying like it's just for this, but I have no idea. It's brilliant if they would let you, but I would think they would have to tell you, especially if they're going to run shit against it later. But again, that could also be a policy issue. It's a very complicated question and a very good one, because I have no idea. And if they could, I would imagine that they could catch a lot more people. So that would rule if they did. All right. Well, with that said, thank you so much for being here. Hugin's ready to play ball. I have to go. I'm going to see you tomorrow. God bless. Good night. You're the best.
Represented by two separate,
Do you hear him?
important groups.
All right. I got to go.
Police
You're the
who
best.
investigate crime and the district attorneys who prosecute the offenders.
That's assault. That's assault. Rape.